I'd like to call to order the board meeting for Folsom Cordova Unified on May 7th, 2026. If we could call roll.
Mr. Clark? Here. Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
All are present.
Okay, I don't think we have any public comments, so we will go ahead and recess to closed session.
Madam President, you do need to list the items, please.
Fantastic. Okay, we will go to closed session where we would discuss student matters, expulsion recommendation case 2526-13, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiations, and personnel matters with respect to every item of business to be discussed in closed session pursuant to section 54957. And with that, we will recess to closed session. Welcome to the regular board meeting for Folsom Cordova Unified on 5/7/2026. We are resuming to open session. And if we could call roll.
Ms. Luong?
Here.
Ms. Lopez-Petracca?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
All are present. Thank you.
Okay, we will move to our land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishnawin and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishnawin ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notomuse, and Nisimpawanan to the north.
And the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Amakumne, Consumne, Hapumne, and Makumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with the natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous people.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today.
In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nisean, especially all future generations.
Thank you. And if you'll please stand to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast as replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Folsom Cordova Unified School Board District Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask them the same in return. If any of the member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, and/or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Public comment will be limited to the subject matter of agenda items. Comments on the subject matter not listed on the agenda will be limited to the period of time reserved on the agenda for general public comment and should be relevant to subject matter within the jurisdiction of the board or district. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 2 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. We'll move to item D, District Recognition Month, Asian American, Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yes, I'd love to invite Dawn Maxey Parlor, teacher at Folsom High and equity leader, to the lectern to present. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
So good to see you.
Good evening, President Larrett, members of the board, and Superintendent Swanson. Like you have introduced me, my name is Dawn Maxey Parlor. I'm a proud equity leader, parent within the district, and teacher here at Folsom High School. Tonight, I will be presenting Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I invite everyone to recognize this year's theme, Powering Unity, Strengthening Communities Together. As we move through today's slides, I invite you to reflect on how this connects to our work, to our schools, and to our relationships we strive to build with students and families. Oh, I feel like I'm in my classroom. It doesn't work. Oh. There we go. I would like to begin first with this quote by Yo-Yo Ma. It is our job, from the littlest person to the oldest person, everywhere to say, we treasure this. This is our home. This is what gives us sustenance. This is what gives us meaning. It speaks to our collective responsibility that no matter our age, role, to honor what gives us meaning and sustains us. This is especially relevant in education. We help students understand identity, create belonging, and ultimately community. As we listen today, consider, how do we create spaces where all students feel identities are valued and protected? Take two. All right. So what does AANHPI mean? Let's take a moment to ground ourselves. The term Asian American originated in 1968 through student activism. It was the unifying term rooted in advocacy and identity. This includes individuals with origins across a wide and diverse region, East, Southeast, South, and Central Asia, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander. It is important to recognize that AANHPI is not just a monolith. It is a community that includes many cultures, many languages, and lived experiences. So this is a timeline of where we began and where we are currently. This timeline shows progression. In 1978, the first official recognition was just 1 week. As we move forward, and more recently in 2021, the term was expanded to explicitly include Native Hawaiians. This evolution reflects our broader societal understanding of identity, inclusion, and most importantly, representation. It is a reminder that language and recognition matter. They shape how we feel seen in this world. So this is why this month of May is so important as we look at their historical contributions, first with the arrival of Japanese immigrants in 1843, and second with the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. This project depended heavily on Chinese immigrant labor, workers whose contributions were essential but historically under-recognized. This month is both a celebration and an opportunity to acknowledge overlooked histories. So we're going to now talk about just some notable figures. By no means is this a representation of the collective body. So we have Duke Kahanamoku. He was an Olympian, a gold medalist, but most importantly, he represented a culture of individuals that were not often seen. While we only touch on a few, I want us to acknowledge that this man represented his Hawaiian culture on a global stage, not just his athleticism. We have a woman in STEM, Kalapana Chawla. She became the first Indian-born woman to go into space. Although she has not been successful, unfortunately, she died. Her legacy lives on. She inspires women to get into STEM and to reach for the stars. Finally, we have Charles K. Cowell. He was a professor, and his contribution is how we send email, how we communicate, and how we now use the internet. So all of these contributions carry us forward. Thank you for your time and acknowledgement.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We will move on to item E, Secondary School Spotlight, Cordova High.
All right, we have three amazing young Lancers. Come on up to the lectern. But before you get started, Lancers, it's one of my favorite shirts we have in our district. Can you turn and face the crowd so they can see your amazing t-shirts? What are they at the student store, Amy, if anyone wants to buy one? 12 bucks, 15 bucks, 15, 18, whatever, yeah. Awesome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sophia Adair. I'm our current junior class president, and I'm next year's ASB president.
Okay. Hello, board. My name is Brandy Fuentes, and I'm the current sophomore secretary and treasurer, and I'm next school year's ASB vice president.
Hello, I'm Andrew Dobson. I'm this year's freshman rep and next year's sophomore vice president.
And we are so happy to be here today to tell you guys all about our school, Cordova High School. To start off with our academics, in our upcoming 2026-2027 school year, we have some new course updates and additions. To start off, our Engineering Academy is now going to be a part of our IB career program, and this is going to allow the students to receive their International Career Technical Education, their CTE recognition. We're also adding science fiction into our English department, and then we're also having ethnic studies as a full year class for all of our upcoming freshmen. Then we're also adding in ethnic studies and art for another full year, but for all of our students. We had a mid-cycle visit on April 21st by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. And then with our IB diploma program, it is currently our internal assessment season, and our external exams, which is very similar to AP, is currently happening, and it started on April 30th, and it's going until May 20th. Right now, there are over 19 exams during this 3-week period, including 21 separate papers, and 194 of our students are currently sitting in for this exam, and this includes our juniors and our seniors. In total, we have 403 exams going on in 10 different subjects. We also have our IB Middle Years program, where our sophomores completed their personal project and got a reward going to Six Flags for doing so. This happened on April 24th, and these students are going to receive a red cord at their graduation, and we have their highest total number yet with 92 students receiving one.
So at Cordova High School, we have many more academic programs, such as the CTE Engineering Academy Event Team. And our CTE Engineering Academy Event Team is one of the 8 teams in the country that were chosen for a grant of $7,500 through their storm drain invention. And this year, we've happily had an increase of 20% of our students earning the State Seal of Biliteracy, meaning 110 students this year have earned the State Seal of Biliteracy. And last night, we had our Senior Awards Night, where we celebrated our graduates earning cords, scholarships, diplomas, and etc.
Here at Cordova, we have an amazing visual and performing arts program. One of our programs is our drama club. Our drama club just put on our spring musical, the 25th annual Putnam Country Spelling Bee, which our staff and people in the audience got to participate and be in the play.
And then also with our visual and performing arts, we have some upcoming events. We have our Cordova High Poetry Slam happening on May 12th at 5:30 in our Performing Arts Center, where all our students and staff are able to submit an open mic and help perform and put on this Poetry Slam. And then we also recently had International Night, which was held by our FCUSD Student Advisory Board and our amazing student board members up here, who put on different exhibits, performances, and a fashion show in our Performing Arts Center. And we had family, friends, and students from all over the district come together and just have a really great time. And then you can also see in those bottom 3 pictures, we had a lot of performances going on around campus. We had our guitar class perform, and on Dia de los Muertos, we had our mariachi club and orchestra perform in the quad for everyone to enjoy. And recently, our jazz band did an amazing performance at Columbia College.
So at Cordova High School, as mentioned earlier, we have a lot of visual and performing arts such as color guard, jazz band, marching band, and orchestra. And our Lancers this year have been doing absolutely amazing with our Winter Guard winning 2026 champions at NCBA. Our Lancers Sarah Bautista winning first chair viola at the CMEA Honor Orchestra, and our Winter Guard captain Amber Flynn winning outstanding performer at the NCBA champions. We also had our Cordova Jazz Band perform at festivals and at local events, and we had our Cordova Marching Band perform their Field Show 6, the musical, in the fall at 5 different venues.
Here at Cordova, we have amazing athletes, including Macy Meredith, who went to state finals for wrestling. At Cordova, we have track and field state meet, which is May 29th through the 30th. Boys golf has state finals June 2nd. Swim sections will be in May, dates to be announced. We also have an amazing opportunity for cross-country conditioning. That is beginning June 1st, 2026, and is from 6:30 to 8:30, Monday through Thursday.
And then some of our activities and student culture going on around campus. Recently, we had the Men of Color Summit on April 24th at Folsom Lake College. And then we also had Link Crew, who had a development day on April 29th. And then recently, we also had Spring Activities Day, and that's where students come together on campus and enjoy food, different activities, and performances in the quad. And then this last weekend, we had our junior and senior prom at the Sacramento Library Galleria. This was our first time having a combined prom with both juniors and seniors, but we've had some great remarks from students and staff who attended. And right now, we are currently in our Staff Appreciation Week. And coming up on May 13th is we're having a gratitude walk for our seniors class of 2026, where they're going to be walking across the campuses of Mitchell, White Rock, Rancho Cordova Elementary, and Mills Middle School in their cap and gown to remember their journey that they've had throughout this district and to help inspire the younger students. And then also for our seniors, we're having our senior send-off rally next Friday, May 15th, and it's our last rally of the year. And it's one of our final ways to say goodbye to our class of 2026. And then the seniors can also continue celebrating their graduation by attending our senior pool party on May 21st.
So at Cordova High School, we have a lot of activities and student cultures. Every year we hold a winter rally, and spring fling, which is a dance dedicated to our special education students. We also hold Thursdays in the quad, and we have impact projects, and we do these activities in order to bring our school together, and so we can have a thrilling and unforgettable school year.
That is Cordova High School. Thank you so much for letting us showcase our school.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I told them, I gave them a heads up. Sometimes the board has questions and they always have to take a picture. So, yeah.
Okay.
Any questions from the board?
No questions? Okay, you guys ready for your picture though? Fantastic.
Yeah.
And if there are parents that want to get pictures, they'll stay after I take a picture. Feel free. Okay. All right, look up here. Don't go anywhere. Does anybody else want to take a picture? Good? Okay, okay. All right, we're good. Thank you so much.
Okay, we will move on to item 5, reporting out of closed session. Superintendent?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, adoption of agenda.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Chalem-Chella,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. We will move on to agenda consent, and we'll be pulling item U
You? Yep.
so that the student board members can abstain. Motion?
I'll move the consent agenda except for item U.
I'll second on that.
Moved by Mr. Reed, second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Superintendent?
Yes, with the adoption of the consent agenda, we have a couple special announcements to make. I'd like to invite William Fitzpatrick to the lectern. We'd like to celebrate, Folsom Cordova is pleased to announce William Fitzpatrick as the next head coach for the Vista Del Lago High School in 26-27. A true Eagle, Fitzpatrick returns to his alma mater after graduating in 2017, bringing both passion and a deep connection to the school community. Following high school, Fitzpatrick continued his basketball career at Case Western Reserve University and Folsom Lake College before transferring to California State University, Sacramento. At Sac State, he embodied the true meaning of a student athlete, graduating magna cum laude while serving as team captain. Fitzpatrick began his coaching journey in 2020 with Vista Talons AAU and NorCal Pharaohs AAU programs, later returning to Vista Del Lago in 2024 as an assistant coach. Known for his strong work ethic, leadership, and ability to build genuine relationships, he has earned high praise from his former coaches. Sacramento State head coach Brian Katz noted that in his 45 years of coaching, Fitzpatrick's character is second to none. With a commitment to integrity, player development, and program excellence, Fitzpatrick is poised to lead Vista Del Lago High School boys basketball into an exciting new chapter. FCUSD is proud to welcome back this legacy Eagle as its next head coach. Say a few words, Coach.
Well, I just want to start by saying thank you. I'm very excited and looking forward to this opportunity. I mean, there's no question that this school, this program, this district means a lot to me. You know, my entire upbringing was through this district, Folsom Hills to Folsom Middle to Vista, and to be able to return for this opportunity, I will never miss the opportunity that is at hand to have an impact on these boys the same way that this program, this school district, and this school did for me. That's what I'm looking forward to for Vista moving forward. So Vista Lago basketball will be a program that the school, that this district, and this city is proud to have represented themselves, right? And excited to have everybody in here out to some games as well.
Yeah,
so
there you go, Coach.
Thank you all. I'm very excited, thankful for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. And then as a legacy employee, we have a deeply rooted pin for you. I'll bring it down to you. All employees that graduated or promoted from one of our schools, please get your legacy pin. Coach, this is for you.
Thank you.
Were we supposed to vote on item U? Oh.
Yep, we can do it after the introduction.
Thank you, Addie. All right, next up, Folsom Cordova is pleased to announce Sarah Shintaku as the next assistant principal for Vista Del Lago High School for the 26-27 school year. Come on up, Sarah. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Shintaku most recently served as the Dean of Student Services at Ponderosa High School, where she was instrumental in fostering a restorative school culture and enhancing student engagement. A veteran educator with 18 years of experience, she has served as a summer school principal, interim assistant principal, department chair, and English teacher. She holds a master's degree in bilingual and multicultural education from CSU Sacramento and a bachelor's degree in English from UC Davis. Driven by a philosophy of equity and data-informed decision-making, Ms. Shintaku is committed to expanding opportunities for all learners. Her vision is to create an educational environment where every student feels a sense of belonging and has the support necessary to achieve academic excellence. She believes that we can move the needle for students' achievement when we lead with empathy and back it with strategic systemic action. Outside of her professional life, Ms. Shintaku has 2 daughters and enjoys traveling and volunteering at the Bradshaw Animal Shelter when time allows. Welcome.
Thank you, President Larrett, Superintendent Swanton, and members of the board. I'm just incredibly honored to be a part of the Folsom Cordova family, and excited to be joining the leadership team at Vista Del Lago. I'm really looking forward to partnering with Principal Lenhart and the staff and the families of the Vista community, and just working on continuing to build a campus environment where every student can thrive both personally and academically. I'm ready to jump in and work for the students in the community, and I'm looking forward to joining the Vista team. So I thank you for your trust and the warm welcome I've already received here at Folsom Cordova.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item U.
I'll move. Item U.
Moved by Mr. Chalem-Chella,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong,
Abstain.
Ms. Lopez Petracca,
Abstain.
Mr. Clark,
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse,
Aye.
Mr. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella,
Aye.
Ms. Larrett.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to special presentations. First one will be for the National Board Celebration.
Yeah, I'd love to invite Sarah Kirby-Gonzalez to the lectern to celebrate what an incredible accomplishment for some of our teammates.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here with you all. So thank you to President Lorette, to Vice President Kalmachura, to the full board, our student board members, Superintendent Swanson, and all of our guests. So I am the facilitator for National Board Certification. I have been so honored to do that work here, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit tonight about our newest National Board Certified teachers. The picture I chose tonight is Paige Biscow, who we're going to honor in a little while. This is one of her teams that she coached. And I just love this picture because you see all of the joy in their faces, and it reminds us of the work that we do to serve students is really the whole child, inside and outside the classrooms, or the work of our teachers, and making an impact with our kids. So our national board is a gold standard in teacher certification. I've been here before to this board, so I know that you know this well. And it aligns with your process targets of continuous improvement, coaching, and of course the PLC process. And at the core of every single certificate, there's 23 different certificates. So we have music teachers going through this, physical education teachers, from kindergarten all the way up to high school. But we are all committed to our kids. We know the subjects we teach. We're responsible for managing and monitoring the learning. We think systematically about our practice, and we learn from experience. And of course, we're members of the learning community. So just like the district initiatives of the HRS, you know what I mean, and our PBIS too, it's really getting us focused on the right work, as we talk about often here. So this is the right work for our kids. There are 4 components to certification. So if anybody is interested in this, any teachers listening, then reach on out. We have a web page on our website as well. And it takes teachers about 200 to 400 hours, 1 to 5 years to certify. So this is a big intensive time. We have been spending lots of weekends together this year, lots of late nights. We're going to sneak out of here probably right when this is done and keep reading those certifications pieces because they're due on Saturday. They have a computer-based test, and then they show how they differentiate with their students. There's videotape samples that they give as well, and then we go through formative and summative assessments. And this is created by teachers and evaluated by teachers as well. This is some of our stats. So we have now had 82 teachers achieve national board certification in our district. We have highlighted our active teachers because it does expire, but anybody who has gone through that process, we really want to honor. Many of them you'll see that you recognize are who are in leadership roles within our district. So they might not have stayed active for whatever reason as they're going through. It says 28, but we actually have 27 who are active certification right now. But I'm proud that at all 4 of our comprehensive high schools, we have national board certified teachers with active certificates. They're across 9 of our elementary schools from both cities. across the district. And then we also have 4 National Board Certified teachers who are working at multiple sites supporting in mentor roles and lead teacher roles. You all support our program by funding our candidate and renewal fees. That has been in place for quite some time, and that is the reason that Folsom Cordova leads all of the region in this work. And you also provide an annual stipend to all of our National Board Certified teachers. It goes up every year a little bit, and so now we're at $916. And then the state has come along, and we're so grateful for this work. It started 5 years ago, where they started the incentive program. So this comes directly from the state, goes through the Department of Ed, comes to the county, and comes to us. So they will pay for our candidate fees if you are at a high priority school, of which we have many. And so I told you earlier that Folsom Cordova pays these fees, so this is all savings to the district. So in the last 5 years of this program, we have saved Folsom Cordova over $50,000 in this work. The other thing, yes. And a huge thanks too, because this wouldn't happen without the business department, the HR department, so all of the departments in the house we appreciate as well. And then we also are able to capture incentives. And so these are for our high priority schools. If teachers commit to working there for 5 years, then they do get $5,000 annually, and that's helping us have retention at our schools who need it the most. And so we have captured and awarded, to help retain our teachers, $220,000 in incentives over 5 years, which is also a huge, huge win and a big lead for the district. Since this incentive was enacted, and I want to say it doesn't just support our high priority schools we might think about. This is also bipartisan work. The legislature supports it because it's also rural school districts and many others. So this is work that really supports everyone. And we were lobbying, well, not lobbying, we were educating our representatives last week. National Board supported us in doing so, Joanna Slaughter and I, and we went and we talked to the representatives that we have here. We talked to Senator Roger Niello, we talked to Assemblymember Josh Hoover, we talked to others who are on the Education Committee and told them about the work we're doing and what's happening in Folsom Cordova. And across the board, again, bipartisan support to continue this work, which we're so grateful for. And it does help us to really target and address the persistent disparities. It's one tool that the state has enacted to help us with the achievement gap. And I know you're going to talk about that later as well. And while having a National Board Certified teacher at a high priority school doesn't magically just fix our achievement gap, it is one tool that really helps us. And it gets us focused on the right work, all of those things I talked to you about earlier. So since this program was enacted across the state, 37% increase in National Board Certified teachers at high priority schools. In Folsom Cordova, there has been a 160% increase. I think we should, did you hear that? And then what do our kids think of having a National Board teacher? Here's what they said. When they learned that their teachers were spending 200 to 400 hours of work outside of the classroom, really trying to become better teachers for their students and to support their students, these are some of the words that they had to say. And the one, it's not filtered, so this is what they said. And the one I like the most, I think, is proud. And that stands out the largest because that is what the most students said. Just like we are proud of our students and for the work that they do, they're proud to have teachers that they know are spending a lot of extra time to hone their practice. So that takes us to our celebrations this evening. We have a lot of National Board candidates you'll see below who are working through the process. They're probably not all here because they're at home still writing and working really hard. Same with our renewal candidates that you'll recognize there. But the ones that we're honoring tonight who have successfully achieved National Board, first up is also one of your employees who's deeply rooted. She's a product of Folsom Cordova, and that is Paige Biscoe.
Thank you all for supporting this work. It has been really inspiring to watch the professional community at Mills evolve, as 6 of us are currently the candidates that you see below, in addition to Kristen and I being honored tonight. As an instructional coach, this process has pushed me to be a more reflective practitioner, but also helped with my coaching conversation and the questioning that I help with my teachers as I support them. Thank you again for your commitment to this program, and thank you to Sarah for mentoring us through this process. It is a big chunk of work, let me tell you. But I've never been more proud of the direction that the Mills professional community is going. So thank you.
And they also get right there, that's the national board pin that they have. And so they get that pin and some other little goodies will be in here. Kristen and Dean is our other teacher we are honoring tonight.
Just like Paige said, thank you so much for the support that you give us. And thank you, Sarah, for supporting us and being our amazing mentor, because I couldn't do it without you and Paige. It was a lot of hard work, but I am very honored to be able to bring this back to my PLC and my PLT at Mills with the focus of math being such a high priority in our district. I have been really reflective of my teaching and bringing those reflections to my team as a leader to make us grow and allow us to find ways to help our students that really need it the most. So thank you so much. Thank you.
And our other teacher is Wendy Pratt, who is at Cordova High School. And unfortunately, she has a second job. And so that's where she is right now. So we miss Wendy, but she knows that we're honoring her and we will be sending her her pin. So if we can all clap for Wendy. Okay, and so with that, I will take any questions from the public or the board, and then we would love to have our picture. We have lots of other national board teachers who are here this evening who would love to take a picture with you all. Any questions?
My only question is, was cool the second most popular?
Let's see how big it was. Let me go.
Pretty big.
Yeah, then yes, it was. That's how it works. Let me see. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Yep. This was middle school, let me tell you. And so I was pretty proud that that was the second one.
How long does the certification last for? How long
Oh, that's a great question. So some of us in the room had done our renewal a while back. And so it was 10 years. And now National Board has asked to renew every 5 years. So for example, Christina Ray is at 5 years, Joanna Slaughter, who are working through renewal right now. But unlike the 200 to 400 hours to go through the first time, renewal is about 20 to 40 hours. So it is a much different process to go through renewal. Thank you for asking.
Okay, let's do pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're never in front. He's never in front.
You guys have family in the audience? I'll share this picture with anybody who wants it. Oh no, sorry, my phone is doing a weird thing. Oh no, hold on. I don't know. I need a new phone. All right, look up here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome, congratulations. Oh my gosh, that is so fun. That's so cool. Wait, who's the other teacher?
Okay, we'll move on to our next presentation, which is very exciting. Our Folsom High and Vista Del Lago High School student participation in the 2026 academic decathlon.
Yeah, I'd love to, let's give them a round of applause. Invite our students and our Academic coaches, Jessica Mann, Ryan Peterson, and Melinda Wilson up to lecture, or just students, okay.
All right, hi everyone, my name's Hannah Huck. I'm Mihalina Kwijinska. My name's Akari Chen.
And I'm Alessandra Segazio.
And we're representatives from our school's academic decathlon teams from 2026. First, I'd like to thank Board President Larrett, Superintendent Swanson, and the entire board for letting us be here today and giving us this opportunity to present our amazing teams and what we've achieved over the past few years. So thank you.
All right, so first of all, just establishing what academic decathlon is. Decathlon 10, so we're studying 10 subjects over the course of 1 year. There's 7 objective tests that we do. It's music, math, art, literature, science, social science, and economics. And we do 50-question multiple choice tests on all of them. And then we also have the 3 subjective tests, which are essay, a speech, and that's a planned speech, and an impromptu speech, and then also an interview. And these are some of the things that we learned this year. Our topic this year was the Roaring '20s. Every year the topic changes. This year we read The Great Gatsby, we listened to a bunch of jazz music that we couldn't tell apart, and we learned about President Harding and the Jazz Age. It was a super fun year. I know everyone at Vista really enjoyed it. We got some lovely presentations about the art of the Jazz Age from our very own student board member, Addie Luong, who is also on the Academic team.
All right, so I'm going to introduce all of the members of our team. There are 9 members on each of the primary team. First up, we have, and as I call out each of our members, I would like them to stand up in the crowd so everyone can see who they are. First up, we have Nolan King. He is a junior this year, and he competed on the Scholastic team. Next up, we have Sanvi Senganseti. She was a junior this year, and she also competed on the Scholastic team. I am obviously the third one. I'm a senior this year, and I competed also on the Scholastic teams. There are 3, yeah. Next up, we have Prasida Uresi. Also a junior, and she competed on the varsity section of our team. Next up, we have Akari Chen up here with me. She is the second senior along with me on this team, and she competed for honors. And then we have our very own Annie Yang. She is the one and only freshman on the team who competed in the varsity category as a wild card this year. Next up, we have Rahna Arizmanali. She is a junior, and she competed in the honors category this year. Next up, we have Ananya Pujari. She is our one and only sophomore, and she competed in the honors category. And lastly, but certainly not least, we have Joseph Craig. He is also a junior this year, and he competed in the varsity category.
For a little bit of context, out of the 9 members of our primary team, we are divided into 3 different GPA categories. So we have the honors GPA category, the scholastic GPA category, which is the middle one, and the varsity category. And freshmen are allowed to compete in any category. Now for the Vista Del Lago team. So first up, I want to introduce everyone to our favorite mascot, Pusheen the cat, with whom I share a birthday. Unfortunately, she could not be here today, but she is our mascot and she goes with us practically everywhere. First off, we have junior Arush Poganapal, who competed for the first time this year. He's over there. And Arush was a member of our varsity team. And next we have Arsha Day. She's not with us today, but she competed with us as a sophomore for the first time this year in the scholastic category. Next up, we also have our only freshman who competed as a wild card in varsity, Aviu Salver.
And then we have Sanjeev Amblam. He's also not here today, but he competed with us also in the Scholastic category.
I'm up next. I'm Mihalina. I'm a senior this year, and I competed in the honors category.
And then we have Antonio Castellanos. He's a senior, and he competed with us in the varsity category.
Then we have our MVP, Alessandra. She competed with us on the honors team, and this is her 3rd year of Academica because unfortunately, when she first joined, freshmen were not allowed to compete, so she did the maximum amount of years that she could.
All right, and then we have our favorite art teacher, Ruhi Bendra. She's also been with us for the max amount of years, 3 years. She's a senior this year, and she competed with us in the Scholastic category.
And last but certainly not least, we have who we all consider to be our team's cheerleader, senior Kapish Kalita, who competed with me and Alessandra in the honors category.
All right, so the next slide's about county competition. This happened on January 24th, 2026, and anyone who's been doing Academica knows that this was moved up a little, so we were all panicking. So another thing that we didn't talk about before was Super Quiz, which is when all the members in honors, all the members in Scholastic, and then all the members in varsity go up to compete together as a team. And this is the main team part of the event. And as you can see in the next slide, if you go on to it, Folsom High won 1st place and Vista del Lago won 2nd place at our county competition.
All right, so back to county for a little bit. As you can see over here, we have some photos of both of our teams receiving medals. SCOE put on this event. It was super fun, and you can kind of see it in the background, but every year, students in the Sacramento County of Education can submit a piece of artwork that will be used in the promotion for this year's theme.
All right, moving on to state competition. Super exciting since both of our schools got to go. And as you can see there, we do basically the same thing. We take the multiple choice test, we do the speech, we do the interview, we do the essay, we do the super quiz, but we do it at the state level. And there were over 50 schools, I believe, at the state level. And so everything was amped up a little bit. The tests were harder. The competition was also harder. But there are a couple exciting parts about state too. We also have the nerd ball, which it's called that by everyone. It's not just a nickname we made up. And we get to dress up and we get to have some fun after all the tests. So it's a bit of a de-stressor. You can see a couple pictures of our teams studying, and the picture at the bottom right is of us, the Scholastic team, the Scholastic category at Folsom High, taking the super quiz. And yeah.
On the county competition slide earlier, you could also see a photo of Vista competing. That photo was posted on the Folsom Times.
You can go first. All right, results. So for super exciting for Folsom High School, we've scored the highest we've ever scored as a school. In Division II, we came 1st place at the state level.
This year, Vista was able to compete just as well as we did last year. We are in Division III. There are 4 divisions at the state level, and we ended up winning 4th place.
All right, so this academic decathlon is a 30-year program at Folsom High School, and it's a 12-year program at Vista del Lago High School. And it's obviously with the support of our schools and our communities that we are able to keep this program alive. As you can see, these are all individual pictures of us celebrating with our medals, because both of our teams did super, super well this year, and I hope to continue this program, even though as a senior, I will not be here. Me and Akery are both 4 years decathletes, so this is our last completion of the set of 4 years in a way. So we will be leaving the program, but I hope it lives on in our community and in our schools.
We also wanted to take a moment to congratulate our coaches. Even though it's us as students who are competing, we could not do it without any of them. Even though the Vista Del Lago program is newer, we have an absolutely amazing mentor in our teacher, Miss Mann. And our program has the benefit of being very, very student-led. We divide up all of our work in terms of teaching, fundraising, doing team-building activities into different student-led committees. So we all get an opportunity to collaborate, and I think Academica is one of the most unique programs that this district offers.
And then also just some final words to thank our coach as well, our coaches, Miss Wilson and also Mr. Peterson. Big thanks to them. Academic Decathlon has been such a special part of Hannah and I's life for the past 4 years, and I can definitely say it's helped me grow in terms of public speaking in ways that I wouldn't have grown before. And as always, Academica is always looking for volunteers during county competitions, so keep an eye out for that. And then finally, this trophy has been in our district for 7 years running. And hopefully we can keep this streak going with next year's topic, although we're all seniors and we'll all be leaving. I know we're leaving both of our teams in very capable hands, and next year's topic will be Journeys of Transformation Migration.
Any questions?
No questions, just a comment. I am so proud of you all, and I think that I've been following you since I've been on the board, and every time you turn around, you guys are winning first, second place, and it's just amazing, and it looks like a repeat next year, so we'll keep it 8 years running, right? And I kind of giggled a little bit because when I was in high school, I was considered a nerd. It's like the nerd ball. I love that. You guys should actually brand it, Nerd Squad. Hey, sign me up. I'll be an honorary member. But no, I am incredibly proud of you all, and great work. Your teacher, phenomenal. Just keep it going.
Thanks so much. Thank you. How about we take a picture? It's the trend of the night. You want us to stand by here? Yeah. All right. Yeah, just because there's such a large group.
Do you have a Warren G. Harding question?
You should actually. It's so funny. You're standing there like.
Just find a window.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna take a picture and then you're all gonna stay there because I see a lot of cameras behind me. Don't move, okay. Come on up, come on up. Thank you.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Big congratulations to our Academica team. We really appreciate how you represent our district, and we are very extremely proud of you. So thank you so much. We move on to item 3, understanding and addressing the achievement and opportunity gap.
Thank you so much, Board President. I'd like to invite Dr. Huber and Dr. Pitt up to the lectern. Later tonight on the board agenda, in our discussion action section, you'll be considering a resolution that was brought forward by Trustee Clark as it relates to a CSBA initiative that's happening right now in our state, trying to galvanize support around this as an important, one of our most important challenges that we face. I wanted to make sure in the resolution, I did name that this board and this team are already working really, really hard and making sure that we're serving all of our students through our performance and process targets, but each day in the classroom. CSBA's resolution is more about a call to action for the state to align resources. But before we got to that, I wanted to make sure that the board was able to understand the work that's happening in the district around the achievement gap. So I've invited two teammates up to do this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, President Larrett, Superintendent Swanson, members of the board. I'm really pleased to be here this evening to share a little bit about the achievement and opportunity gap. I'm going to start by defining the achievement gap and give a little bit of context for what tends to drive differences in student outcomes. We'll transition to share some current district data disaggregated by different student groups, and then Dr. Huber will spend some time closing us out, discussing how our work is focused on improving student outcomes. So let's jump right in. So the achievement gap is defined as persistent disparities in academic outcomes between student groups, often reflecting societal inequities in access to resources, opportunities, and supports. It's important to note that the term doesn't just describe differences, it points to systematic, predictable disparities tied to opportunity and access, and not ability. I want to jump in a little bit. You know, as we talk about closing the achievement gap as educators, we tend to focus on the things that we can control while planning for the things that are outside of our control. Student achievement reflects the opportunities that students have access to both inside and outside of school. For example, I'll give a metaphor. If two runners start a race from different starting lines, we shouldn't be surprised when their finish times differ. So the achievement gap is actually talking about the finish times, whereas the opportunity gap is a little bit different, and that is examining the starting lines and the conditions along the way. So, 20 years ago when we talked about the achievement gap, we really were just talking about the outcomes. I wanted to bring in this concept of the opportunity gap to show that those two really go hand in hand. We can't just talk about the outcomes without considering the inputs. And the inputs, when we talk about education, are not just the teaching and learning inputs, but they are also the broader society, our community, our world, policies, legislation, structures, things far outside the scope of and outside the control of education. But our job as educators is that as students come into the door, our job is to adjust and adapt and differentiate our supports and our instruction based on those students' needs, based on how they show up for our schools. I'd like to point out that this graphic is not suggesting that the outcomes are predetermined by any means. It shows that when students have unequal access to opportunities and supports, we should expect differences in experiences and outcomes unless systems intentionally intervene. When I turned over to Dr. Huber, he's going to talk a lot about the way that our system has and continues to adjust to systematically intervene. And I'm going to start next by talking about some of those out-of-school factors that contribute to the disparate outcomes that we see and that contribute to the achievement gap as it currently stands. I'll start with talking about poverty. Poverty does not determine a student's potential, but it does affect access to many of the conditions that support learning and academic success. So for example, when we talk about early learning opportunities, students enter kindergarten and TK with very different early learning experiences. Some of those include access to preschool, books, language-rich environments, and early literacy opportunities that can significantly shape school readiness. Early gaps in vocabulary, literacy exposure, foundational skills can widen over time without intervention. When it comes to stable housing and nutrition, students learn best, as we all do, when their basic needs are consistently met. So when families are experiencing housing instability, overcrowding, or frequent moves, these can disrupt attendance, a student's ability to concentrate, and the continuity of learning, especially if they're changing schools frequently. Furthermore, food insecurity can impact attention, memory, energy levels, and overall school engagement. It's one reason I'm really proud of our state offering free meals to all students in the state. It's one of those factors that we can plan for and address in school. It's not the whole picture, but it's one step to addressing the out-of-school factors that do impede learning. Healthcare and mental health support, another one I'm really proud about, districts across our county and our state, and especially our district, around providing increased access to mental health support, right? We know that untreated chronic stress or trauma can create for students a greater difficulty with focus, emotional regulation, and attendance. Similarly, untreated vision, health, or dental issues can also affect learning. I'm proud of us that we have robust access to counseling and mental health supports across our schools to help support students who may come to school with these needs. Again, academic enrichment outside of school, we know that families that have greater resources tend to do more extensive opportunities for students to engage in extracurricular activities, coaching, sports, and other events outside of the school day. These opportunities actually build background knowledge, confidence, academic skills over time that compound and increase the impact that our education system can have with students. What we know from poverty and how it impacts academic achievement is that schools with higher concentrations of poverty often face greater challenges in achievement, attendance, and graduation rates. It's important to point out, though, that this reflects differences in access and opportunity, not ability, right? If we want equitable outcomes for our students, we must pay attention to the unequal conditions students may be navigating before they even arrive at the school day. So I'll say that our work in community schools and the state's $4 billion investment around community schools opportunities is one effort to address the needs of the whole child, the whole family, the whole community, to help plan and intentionally invest in changing some of those out-of-school supports that we know impact teaching and learning. I'm going to pivot to talk about race and racial disparities in education. It's important to understand the historical context, which I'll talk about kind of more on the next slide, but for much of US history, public education systems explicitly separated and unequally funded public schools based on race. So policies in housing, school zoning, access to advanced coursework, limited opportunities for many communities of color, not just in one generation currently, but compounded over generation, over generation, over generation. So this disparity based on race was not an accident. It was intentional. It was codified in law. It was both de jure and de facto segregation and marginalization of many communities of color. So those policies actually help shape patterns that we still see today in school funding, neighborhood resources, and access to opportunity. Because of this history, race-based disparities cannot be explained by poverty alone, even though those two are often connected, right? So policies based on race that marginalize students within schools often were reflected and mirrored by societal marginalized policies and practices outside of school. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I just wanted to give us a little bit, like zooming out a bit around exclusionary policies in California and across the nation. I think many people in California assume that because we're not in the South, that we didn't suffer some of the same outcomes that many education systems in the South suffered as a result of slavery and of Jim Crow, for example. California is not immune to these ripples of racism. One of the first things that our state did when we became a state in 1850 was to pass the Fugitive Slave Law that banned Black children from California public schools. Once in 1870, Black children were allowed to be publicly educated in California. They were required to be taught in separate schools where the ratio of Black teachers to Black children was 1 to 232. So just as a snapshot, what's not on this slide is a number of other exclusionary tactics for a variety of other racial groups across not just the state of California, but the United States as a whole. You'll notice the Mendez versus Westminster School District in 1947, which struck down segregation with regard in California schools. That particular court case fought against linguistic segregation. Students of Mexican descent were not allowed to be educated in public schools because they did not speak English. So this was the beginning of an attempt to unravel the segregation based on race, and in this case, linguistics. Just as a point, that case in 1947 in Southern California actually became a precursor to 1954's Brown v. Board of Education, which officially struck down racial segregation across the United States. It's important to note that that decision in 1954 by the US Supreme Court did not actually fully get enacted probably until 20 or so years later. It was into the 70s that families were still fighting for Black children to be included and educated alongside white children in our schools. Another important feature that I'll just put a pin in for a later conversation, when we talk about diversifying the workforce and having more educators that reflect the nationalities, ethnicities, backgrounds, and languages of their students, one of the things that happened as an unintended result of the Brown v. Board case was that although Black children were officially allowed to be educated alongside white children after that court case, what was not allowed was Black teachers were not allowed to educate white children, which systematically erased an entire group of people in the Black community that had college degrees, that were educators, very proud of being educators. All of a sudden, they were unemployed. This goes on to talk about many current cases that we do know about, right, around like Williams versus the state of California in 2004, No Child Left Behind, which required schools to officially start disaggregating data by student groups. So instead of looking at an average of student attendance, student performance, this is when states and LEAs had to officially start disaggregating by student group. So it wasn't an average, we had to look by group. And this is when the achievement gap really became much more evident across our system. I just want to point at this current achievement data that I'm going to go into next. I want to point to the fact that we inherited a system where education was intentionally unequal. Disproportionality, disparate outcomes, this achievement gap, the opportunity gap is the modern fingerprint of that history that was intentional. So as we look at these data, I want us to keep in mind that, you know, like I said at the beginning, this is not an indication of students' ability or their potential. It is a remnant of a system that was intentionally created to disenfranchise a groups of people, I should say. So let's look at who we are as a district. Let's talk about our demographics. On the left-hand side, you have our student groups. We have 10,809 female students, 11,721 male students. We have about 2,800 English learners, just over 3,000 students with disabilities, close to 8,500 socioeconomically disadvantaged youth, 51 students in the foster system, and about 650 or so students experiencing homelessness. In terms of our racial demographics, we are a very diverse district. You see here, we have 54 students that identify as American Indian or Alaska Native, 5,707 Asian students. I'll make a note on this category. In California, we differentiate between Asian and Filipino in the state of California, but for federal government counts, the federal government combines Asian and Filipino together into one student group. So you'll see some slides that have Filipino. I don't think I took those out, just to show that that's how California counts. But a note is that the federal government does not differentiate. We have 882 Black students, 5,346 students who are Hispanic or Latino, about 144 Pacific Islander Native Hawaiian students, a good number of students that identify as 2 or more races, and 7,567 white students. The total of 22,547 students in our mid-sized district here in California. So we're gonna start with talking about outcomes by racial group. So this is the percentage of all students at or above standard for CASP and ELA, and this is over time. So You'll see when we talk about the achievement gap, this is typically what's talked about, right? The disparity between some student groups and other student groups in terms of achievement, and often those are predictable across many different measures. So you'll see African American students here are the lowest performing racial ethnic group in our district. This is mirrored across the state of California. There are a few systems in our state that this is not the case. They have been pretty successful in closing that achievement, but there are not many, and they are not, replicating that has been proved to be very difficult. When we look at those ELA outcomes, and this is just, I could do 25 pages of slides in a lot of different ways, so this is just a sampling, but when we look at third grade ELA outcomes by student group, so this is looking at a comparison between all student performance versus English learners, students with disabilities, socioeconomically disadvantaged, students experiencing homelessness, and then a male and female differential here. You'll see that English learners are our lowest performing group here at 19%, meeting or exceeding proficiency in the CASP by third grade. And you can see similar trends where poverty intersects, right, with homelessness, where socioeconomically disadvantaged kind of intersects, right? That's the other thing to understand here too, is that we can't really think about poverty and race as two separate things, that there are often moments of intersectionality where those two things commingle and you get more outcomes. Similarly, when we look at race, by math outcomes by race, you see the achievement gap persisting here, even over time. When we look at chronic gaps, I'm going to switch to chronic absenteeism and suspension, even though typically we don't talk about suspension and absenteeism as part of the achievement gap, because those aren't typically considered an outcome. I think it's important to include that here, as attendance and behavior are considered proxies for school climate. And school climate is essentially how a student or a person feels in a space, right? So climate can be different depending on who you are, right? So you have one space, a school or a classroom, right? Some students might feel very comfortable in that classroom or in that school. Other students might feel less comfortable or less connected and less sense of belonging. And typically how we measure that sense of belonging, how we measure connectedness and school climate is by absenteeism. So again, you can see, so this is chronic absenteeism, students that are absent, significantly throughout the school year. African American students are more chronically absent, Pacific Islander more chronically absent. You see that the absenteeism rates, and then when we get to suspension, that the higher those are, the lower the achievement. So these things go together typically as well. Similar absenteeism by student group, you'll see foster youth, which is a group that one might consider foster youth and homeless students probably the most socially disadvantaged across our system, and all systems have the highest chronic absenteeism rate by group. We look at suspension rate, you'll see the same pattern as you did on absenteeism, right? So exactly the opposite, where there are lower achievement, but higher suspension, higher chronic absenteeism. Again, similar suspension rate by student group. Foster youth are almost 20% of the students are suspended. You see the same patterns. I'm going to turn it over to Jim to talk a little bit about the ways that we're intentionally working to improve these outcomes as a system.
Good evening. We thought we'd start with basically our district strategies to improve outcomes. And this really came into focus for everybody this year. We have posters throughout the building, and we're going to be putting these actually out through our schools as well, just to really put the message out. But we basically have some performance and process targets, and these were selected specifically in terms of trying to target the areas that we believe will have the most impact in terms of not only it's good for all students, but also helping us with the subgroups of students that traditionally and historically, again, to what Dr. Pitt was talking about, are predictable, have been predictable in terms of not achieving all that they could achieve in our educational system. So third grade literacy, 5th to 8th grade math, college and career readiness, A through G, and then system-wide connectedness are our performance targets. The third grade literacy is really important because it's been in the research for many, many years, probably since I came into education almost 30 years ago, that students who are not literate by the time they reach third grade, there our system actually, our state and other states project how many prisons they will need to build off third grade literacy, which is just a really startling fact. But they can pretty much tell that if a student is not literate by third grade, their chances of being a high school graduate, the chances of being a healthy, contributing adult to society drastically decreases, and the chances of them entering the system in some sort of negative way, including prison, really can be patterned after our third grade literacy rates. So that really has become a huge focus for us in terms of ensuring that our students reach third grade literate and are ready to, the old saying is you learn to read up to third grade and then you read to learn from third grade forward. And so it's really paramount that that became a target for us and a heavy focus area. And our teachers and site administrators have really just done an outstanding job in terms of really starting to work in this area. 5th to 8th grade math, also kind of the same thing in terms of, again, a gatekeeper at the high school level, and again, an indicator that can predict whether or not a student's gonna be successful, both either in graduation, but certainly in terms of college and career readiness, and then the A through G component is whether or not they can be successful in mathematics. And again, that foundational piece of that success at the high school level and then beyond really happens where students are at grade level in 5th grade and 8th grade, specifically for future success. Our college and career readiness and A through G goals, the A through G refers to the requirements that students need to reach in order to be automatically accepted into the UC and CSU system in the state of California.
Not accepted, James. Not accepted. The
Unaccepted.
ability to
Yeah,
apply.
the ability to, yes,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, they can't apply. Eligible, that's the word. Thank you, Dr. Pitt. Yes. So yeah, it's super important in terms of just, again, options, right? In college and career readiness and the A through G, the focus really there is that we want students to have a multitude of opportunities after high school. The student gets to choose in terms of what pathway they're going into. Are they going straight into a career? Maybe they're going into a career, but they still are going to need to do some college along the way. We want all of our students to have as many options as possible. And then finally, that system-wide connectedness, again, that was referred to a little earlier in terms of kids have a tougher time in school if they don't feel connected to school. Kids have a tougher time if they don't feel that they are part of that community and they don't want to go to that school day in and day out. And so we have to do things so that all kids who walk on those campuses feel welcome. They feel like they are part of that community and they are a valued part of that community. Our process targets refers a little bit more in terms of the adult work in order to get to the performance targets that we've just outlined. And so we've got continuous improvement, we have coaching, and then we have the PLC process. This work really began with the board, some other members who aren't here now, but right before COVID is when we really started to kind of, bring some coherence to this in terms of we used to be a district that was a little bit scattershot in its approach. And so schools were allowed to kind of chart their own path, if you will, in terms of an approach to different things depending on their school community. And it was right before COVID, around 2018, 2019, that we as a district decided to become a PLC district-wide, let me reverse that, a district-wide PLC district, right? All schools were going to be required to provide the professional development, work with their faculties and staff towards becoming PLC schools. The main process there being, now you've got teachers working collectively together. We've done some other things since then, for instance, like bringing planning time all the way to the elementary schools. It used to only be at the secondary. Now elementary schools have that that protected planning time on Thursdays as well. We're doing some other things to build in team time as we're moving forward as well. But giving teachers the time to work together, to look at data together, also another component that was really missing in our district previously, was looking at data in the moment. We would tend to wait until we got the CASP data at the very end. Actually, we didn't get the CASP data until the following year. And then we would react to that. And now we're really working with our teachers and our teams around looking at data in the moment, literally during first instruction, to intervene again in that moment. Also coaching in terms of, Mr. Swanson likes to talk about coaching vertically and horizontally, that anybody can be coached and everyone needs to be open to coaching in terms of how can we improve in terms of how we're serving students. So a portion of that is something called targeted universalism. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but this basically, again, speaks to what we've been trying to do as we've moved into those process targets, because this was bringing the whole system, I probably should have put this graphic in, but there's a graphic that has one big arrow, and inside that big arrow is a whole bunch of arrows pointing in all these totally different directions. Again, somewhat of our approach in terms of the work we're doing now was how we approached that back pre-COVID. But the PLC process, response to intervention, multi-tiered systems of support, et cetera, are all sort of trying to bring things so that we universally are doing the same thing. So we have universal goals that we want for all of our students, and then we are going to build in targeted strategies to help all students attain those goals. So intentional actions within our system, one of our first areas of focus is high quality first instruction. Early intervention, that's academic, social, emotional, and behavioral. Strong relationships, connectedness, and a sense of belonging. Equitable access to programs and opportunities, and continuous improvement throughout regular collection and analysis of data. And again, one of the areas, if you go back in time a little bit, sometimes we didn't realize we sometimes got in our own way, or we sometimes approached things in a way that might not have been helpful for the students we were trying to support. So one of the things that would often happen is during first instruction, right, a student's first introduction to a lesson plan or a unit of a study, well, perhaps this is a student that needed to have some support. The student might actually be pulled out of class during first instruction to receive support. Not super helpful in terms of if you're not even in class during first instruction, we're actually helping them dig that hole deeper. And so we're really getting intentional in terms of when we offer support and how we're approaching support to make sure that all of our students receive high quality first instruction, and that is not impeded in any way. Early interventions, academic, social, emotional behaviors. We have all sorts of different things. There's a whole bunch of acronyms for this. Things like WHEN, is one of them, what I need time. MTSS, again, multiple tiers of support. All super helpful. We love acronyms in education. But the point is there are so many ways now that we come at particular student needs, and we're much better at identifying things in the moment and then intervening in the moment rather than waiting further down the road from the data to respond. Also part of this journey is improvement science. Improvement science is really becoming the way we do business here at Folsom Cordova. And so again, to Dr. Pitt's point earlier, the achievement gap is multifaceted and it's complex. And so in terms of coming at this, there's a bunch of different ways that we really have to look at the data, decide what we're going to do with the data, respond to it, and then determine, did it have the impact we wanted? One of the questions we ask right now is, what would success look like? And so we're trying to do things in small chunks. Try something, intervene in the moment, look at what it's getting for us, what does the data say is happening, and either adapt, adopt, or abandon is our approach now, right? If it's working, we stick with it. If it's not working, then what do we need to do to either change it and see, and we're back into this process, collecting the data to see if it worked, or is it not working and we need to move something else? The district's commitment now to this process, I think, is really going to lead it to some benefits. I'm really excited to watch our journey over the next 3 to 5 years in terms of the impact I think we'll have on student achievement. And that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions? Thanks, that was very kind of you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Madam President? Yes. Yeah. It's interesting, when I look at slide 3, what is the achievement gap? One of the things that I'll let you catch up here. One of the things that I've been highlighting for a number of years now is the boy crisis in society and academics. So when I read that definition here in that light, it's interesting, when you look at, often reflecting societal inequities and access to resources, opportunities, and supports. I know we have our, we started a little group that we're going to hopefully grow, task force on the boy crisis. But I think this would be a really good slide when we get that group up and running to talk about and look at what's driving that. Because I notice on the following slides, we talk about poverty, we talk about race, but that doesn't necessarily explain what's going on with gender. On slide 9, this was actually something, I learned something, is I hadn't thought about this before. I've asked for the gender to be added, which, by the way, thank you. I apologize. I should have led with thank you, because I have noticed an effort over the last year and a half of always including gender. We didn't used to include gender ever. It was always, other demographics, but gender was never a demographic. And I think, honestly, we're leading the way probably in the state, if not in the country, in looking at gender differences as well, and I think that's a good thing. But what I saw on slide 9, and it's a question I never thought to ask before, was what's the raw number of males versus females in our district? We have 900 more males than females, which honestly gives them a leg up if things were equal. But when you see the outcomes, the grade disparities, the graduation disparities, it just makes that even more apparent that there's a problem, given the fact that males have 900 more students in our district than females. So anyway, that was an interesting aha moment for me. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to speak about. But thank you very much for this presentation. I think it was very well done. A lot of things here to think about. Obviously, I like to say, what would the #1 school district in the state do? Because that's what we're striving to be. And the #1 school district in the state would be asking difficult questions of itself on all of these slides. It's an important conversation, it's important dialogue, it's important that we figure out how to turn things around for certain demographics, and I'm confident we can do that. So thank you.
I just wanted to thank you guys for the presentation. This work has been going on for many years, and many of our teachers and classified staff that are here are the ones doing the hard work. So thank you for putting the presentation together to show the hard work that's happening in the district. I am thrilled to see data actually being looked at. We started the process when I was in the district with rolling out the PLCs, and these conversations are now not scary. It's more of a driving force in our district and what we're doing. So I think we've moved a long ways since I did work here, because looking at these numbers and this data and having these conversations was a scary thing for everybody. And these are the conversations that are happening in the PLC meetings, at the school sites, at the district level and everything. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yes. Dr. Pitt and Dr. Huber, I know the slides 11, 12, 13, all those bar charts, everywhere. We can probably pause here. Either 12 is good, so many colors there. I think when my kids were going to the Folsom Middle School, and there is a year-end award ceremony, when the athletics came, that #3 group, not even 1 or 2. I just want to make it, loud here. #3 group, hardly any when the athletics awards are being distributed. When the academic awards are being distributed, probably that group is lining up, including my daughter. So it has been 10 plus years. I think I know you get numbers are great all the time. So Mr. Swanson, I know we say that 1% better. So can we put that numbers on these lower ones, maybe 1% better in the elementary or the middle or the high school, how we can get improved? And if we are not reaching 1% better, maybe 0.5% better? So again, since we are talking the numbers, there is something some groups are doing, and I always say this, parents are their teachers first before us. And of course, they are their teachers, more or less, most of the times. They only live with us 6 hours to 7 hours. So maybe tapping on that side also, an equation,
That's a huge,
right? And I'm sure you guys are doing it, but how do we get that next 0.5% better?
Right.
Right? So for all the good sake, maybe put one athletics slide also here, please. You know, that gives some of that great athletics coming from number 4 group or number 5 group. I want to cheer them and, you know, give them leg up as well. So we got to have this tight bonding between academics and athletics. There should be some coaching must be happening. I just want to put that out there, being one of those parents lining up for the academics, but not athletics. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Thank you again for doing, and see whether we can, see whether, Mr. Swanson, whether we can put some percentage, you know, 0.5% or 1% to make that 4th group better, 6th group better, 8th group better. They are so low.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. I'm done.
We do.
We do, okay.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, Madam President.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Pitt and Dr. Huber for the presentation. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to present a resolution to this board. It does need to be approved. We do need to make a statement and a stand that we are going to do everything that we possibly can to close the achievement gap, especially these numbers. To me, I'm going to say they're unacceptable because, you know, I travel up and down the state visiting other districts, and I mean, and they're all the same. You know, the districts that I visit, with the exception of Compton Unified, believe it or not, their numbers, especially with our Black and African American students, are up in the 85 to 90% percentile. We'll get there because I'm an optimist, and I know that we will. And, you know, kudos to our teachers because they're the ones that's doing the work. The thing is, we need to continue to support them to do the work. So I look forward to making that presentation on the resolution coming up later on in the agenda. Thank you.
Yeah, so just wanted to make a couple comments. At the presentation at Mills today, what you could really see was the work that's been done over the last 3 to 4 years on the PLCs and the strides that they're making there. I mean, I've lived in the Rancho Cordova community for over 20 years, and I will tell you that Mills is a completely different school than it was 4 years ago. And I can really see that those supports that have been put in and the work there, there's a difference in just the vibe with the students are happy. And what was really cool about their presentation today was that everybody was presenting, from each department to attendance, market goals that they had. And it was really just so incredible to watch and really see kind of the PLCs really at work and what that kind of work is bringing forth. And when you look at their CASP scores, they're definitely improving. And so just wanted to kind of give them a shout out. And really, it's just a small reflection of the work that's being done at all of our schools. And just wanted to say congratulations to you guys. Congratulations to the teachers, the administrators that are working on these, because I think the thing that we need to be proud about is that we haven't waited for a call to action on closing these gaps. They were identified several years ago, and that work was already laid, and we have nowhere to go but in a positive direction. And so I think that we're positioned in a really good spot to just see those continuous improvements and, continuing to push the state on our end for continuous funding and different things like that to support programs like community schools, that we can see market improvements at those sites and things like that, and making sure that we are, supporting all those efforts as much as possible. So wanted to thank everyone for that, all the work that's been done on this. So thank you so much. Fantastic. Okay, well, we move on to public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items.
Yes, first up we have Alyssa Doyle, followed by Sudoff.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the board. I am Melissa Doyle. I am a para-educator at Cordova High School. Tonight, I once again am addressing you about issues on pay for your staff, not only to retain, but also to try to lure some from other districts. To do this, we need competitive wages with other nearby districts, and I can tell you, I've been looking around. We are middle of the line for starting pay. Myself, I've been here almost a decade. If I went to another district, I would actually have started at a lower rate, but be at a higher pay right now. However, during this time in history, I have coworkers that are scared to be taken by ICE, scared that war is imminent, scared that they could be harmed just for being themselves. The one thing they should not be scared about is having a livable wage. At the current gas prices right now, we have hit above $5 a gallon, and it is quickly rising to more than $6 a gallon. At my rate, my car, most people's average car, has a 16-gallon gas tank. That is a $90 fee every single time we have to go fill up. That means at my rate here, I have to work 4 hours untaxed just to pay that bill. That is more than half of a shift for most of our paraeducators, just for the record. Most, including myself, they are having to double up, have roommates, and or work multiple jobs. Currently, I will be honest, my rent is $1,200, and that is on a very low side for the Rancho Cordova area. That means I would have to work at least 50 hours just for the month, just to pay my rent. I did the math and figured out that the average paraeducator that is being hired here is 5.75 hours, which means they are having to work almost 2 weeks per month just to pay rent. Does that really seem reasonable? That is more than 50% of their paycheck. I would say no, because guess what? They're telling us we have to make 3 times the income just to pay and get that housing. What other possibilities does that leave us at this point? Well, that means either we're getting another job where we can go and make more money, or we're getting a second or third job. And that puts our kids' safety at risk, because that means we're making unwise choices from being very tired. Overall, this does not include maintenance to their cars, expenses for their children, or even the cost of food, which are basic needs. If I am struggling as a single parent working 8 hours a day, I can't imagine what my counterparts are going through. And here you guys keep telling us we are a family, and that's not how you treat a family. So if this is wrong to you, please make a change.
Sudha, followed by Karthik. Sudha, followed by Karthik.
Can I start? Hello, my name is Sadaf Mugaddam, and I'm a senior here at Vista del Lago. I came here to talk about one thing, generative AI's growing place in our world and how we should address it. I recognize that there are already policies being made, specifically the guidelines and the digital citizenship curriculum that is being created and implemented by the district's lead EdTech teacher and district librarian, Carrie Bajork and Amy Cornta, respectively. However, the very existence of guidelines implies that we have resigned to coexisting with generative AI. But I don't believe in a future where generative AI should exist, which is why I'm imploring the district to take an explicit stance against generative AI with the intention of creating a political ripple effect, all the while pushing AI literacy forward in our district. We cannot afford to be passive or moderate about such a technology when it concerns the very decline of our society. We cannot be ignorant about a technology that is, at its basis, political. And we cannot be tolerant about a technology that is intolerant to the planet and the people in it. Because it's not a lack of regulation that is the issue, but generative AI itself and the tech companies behind it.
The main argument for generative AI is that it will highly benefit society as a whole, but it has not done that. Conversely, the opposite has happened. It has created more problems than it has solved. Gen AI has worsened the pre-existing literacy crisis affecting America. Furthermore, a study released by Brookings Institution, a public policy think tank with a long-established reputation for quality work, stated the risks of utilizing generative AI in children's education overshadow its benefits, and that it can undermine children's foundational development. Gen AI has contributed significantly to pollution with its already observed carbon print that is expected to grow. AI's electricity consumption alone was ranked the 11th largest in the world 2022 in a comparison that included countries. And according to the UN Environment Program, AI-related infrastructure may soon consume 6 times more water than Denmark. Fresh water, and nonetheless drinkable fresh water, not the fresh water used for irrigation. Gen AI has contributed to the exploitation with its demands for low-cost labor in not only the US, but in other countries like Kenya and Philippines. And last of all, data centers that are being created for Gen AI are churning out toxic waste, like mercury and lead, that are affecting environments and vulnerable communities nearby. For instance, in Memphis, Tennessee, the data center under xAI, a company operating under Elon Musk, is emitting smog-forming pollution, nitrogen oxides, and harmful chemicals like formaldehyde. Formaldehyde, which is a known carcinogenic according to the American Cancer Society. So it's no surprise that Boxtown, the neighborhood closest to the facility, has a cancer risk that is 4 times higher than the average. But are you aware that there are also 6 public schools in close proximity to the facility? I can go on, but for the sake of time, I won't. However, I'd like to make one last point. Last Thursday, the district was holding a special joint session where one of the items discussed was an AI exploration program. And I looked through your slides and I noticed something, specifically whom you're intending to partner with for this program.
30 seconds remaining.
A tech company by the name of NVIDIA. Are you aware that NVIDIA has its largest research and development base in Israel, and that NVIDIA has acquired Mellanox Technologies, a company whose main client is the Israeli military, who is known to make extensive use of generative AI in its ethnic cleansing of Gaza? No matter if you're Democratic, Republican, or Independent, you should still care about the severe detriment such technology poses on our society and the fact that it is also actively being used to harm people. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Karthik? Karthik, can you come to the podium? Followed by Arissa.
Good evening, President Swanson, board members, and Good evening, President Larrett, board members, and Superintendent Swanson. My name is Karthik, and I'm a freshman at Folsom High School. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight regarding the climate awareness and recycling education initiative that I'm trying to bring in our district. So currently, this resolution has been looked over by Student Board Member Long, Mr. Maroon, our district lead of science, Ms. Samuelson, and is currently being reviewed by our district coordinator. But I'd like to discuss something different today. I would like to ask you to think back to when you were students yourself, growing up in the 1980s, 1990s, or whenever you guys did grow up. I don't want to assume. Anyways, back then, climate change was not something students regularly discussed in the classroom. Most people did not think about record-breaking heat waves, year-round wildfire seasons, extreme droughts, shrinking snowpacks, or dangerous air quality becoming normal parts of California. But over the course of your lifetime, you have watched these changes happen firsthand. You've seen summers become hotter. You've seen wildfires grow larger, more destructive, and more frequent. You've seen smoke-filled skies keep students indoors in California. You have seen water shortages impact communities across our state. And perhaps most importantly, you have seen how environmental challenges no longer feel distant or theoretical. They directly affect students, families, schools, and public health today. As someone who has been a student in this district through elementary school at Theater Judah, middle school at Sutter Middle, and now high school at Folsom High, I have also seen these impacts become more visible throughout my own education. My generation has grown up practicing active shooter drills and also experiencing smoke days, extreme heat, and conversations about drought and environmental change becoming part of everyday life. The world students are preparing to enter is changing rapidly, and our education should help prepare us for that. This is exactly why this resolution matters. This resolution is not telling students what to think. It is about preparing them for the reality of the world they are already living in. Students should understand topics that will shape their future careers, communities, economy, and daily lives. Whether a student becomes a scientist, engineer, farmer, business owner, teacher, electrician, or public servant, environmental literacy and sustainability awareness are becoming increasingly important in nearly every field. The goal of this resolution is simple: to provide students with age-appropriate education that encourages critical thinking, scientific understanding, problem-solving, and responsible stewardship of resources. Just as schools teach students about financial literacy to prepare them for economic realities, climate literacy helps prepare students for environmental realities. And importantly, this resolution does not create an expensive mandate. It builds upon existing instructional frameworks, California standards, and supplemental educational opportunities that are already available in the FCUSD district. It gives schools flexibility while encouraging awareness, engagement, and hands-on learning. As board member, you have had the unique perspective of watching the planet change over decades, but you also have the unique perspective to be able to create change in this very district. Today's students will live through the next several decades of those changes. The question is not whether students will face environmental challenges in the future. The question is whether we will prepare them to understand those challenges thoughtfully, responsibly, and constructively. This resolution is an opportunity for FCUSD to help lead that effort. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Arissa, followed by John. Florence.
Good evening. My name is Arissa Hassan, and I am a freshman at Folsom High School. I came here today to request a review of the district policy that prohibits the chartering of HOSA at schools with the CTE patient care pathway. Due to this policy, HOSA, also known as Future Health Professionals Club, has been removed from Folsom High. While the CTE patient care pathway has been much appreciated at Folsom High, it creates an unintentional but unfair opportunity gap for students at Folsom High School. At Folsom High School, the CTE patient care pathway is only accessible to juniors and seniors, which leaves freshmen and sophomores with little opportunity to engage with health science leadership or exploration, especially since HOSA has been removed from our school. Before, students of all grades could express their interest in healthcare through HOSA, but that is no longer available. Additionally, many students who cannot incorporate the patient care class into their schedules still want to benefit from the unique competitive and leadership events and network opportunities that HOSA provides that makes it stand out from multiple other medical clubs. Patient care is an academic class, while on the contrary, HOSA is a student-led club. They are both different. HOSA should not be considered a CTE pathway at our school, but rather a fun enrichment club or after-school activity where students can explore their love and passion for the medical fields. All students should be able to participate in HOSA regardless of their age or course schedule. Many students in the past have benefited from the club HOSA, but due to the removal of the club, countless students have been affected. Suppose, in just Folsom High alone, this year, 40 students enrolled in HOSA who are really looking forward to participating. And this doesn't even include the large group of students that wanted to participate in Vista del Lago High School. Unfortunately, it was removed due to the policy, and I am seeking the approval and assistance of the district to allow the HOSA Club to be rechartered, even at FCUSD schools with an established patient care CTE pathway. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. John Florence,
followed by Sydney and Madison.
Good evening, members of the board and district leadership. My name is John Florence, and I'm here tonight because I believe a decision was made that deserves both transparency and reconsideration. I went through a full hiring process for the head boys basketball position at Cordova High School. The process lasted 42 days and included 3 separate interviews. After my second interview on March 30th, I was told directly by Aaron Calusa, the vice principal of athletics, "Congratulations, you're the new head coach at Cordova High School." Following that conversation, I sent a message to JP Dolliver, the athletic director, thanking him for the opportunity. His response was, "Congratulations, coach, you're the right coach for the job." So from both the vice principal of athletics and the athletic director, I was clearly told that I had earned this position. Then the very next day at 5:15 p.m., I received a call from Peter Maroon informing me that I no longer was the coach and was told the district had done some research and that somebody described me as loud and stubborn. I think I played for a lot of coaches. They were loud and stubborn too. They were pretty good. Because of that, the position would be reopened to make sure they had hired the right person. I want everybody here to think about that for a moment. After 3 interviews, after being told I was the head coach, after being told I was the right person for the job, that decision was reversed. Not because of my qualifications, not because of my interview performance, not because of the opinions of the people who actually know me and have worked with me, but because of a vague secondhand statement. That statement was asked to my reference, and Mr. Keltner was asked by the VP, "What are some red flags about Mr. Florence?" And he said, "Sometimes coach could be stubborn, but coachable." And her response to that was, "Can we all be sometimes?" So referring to being stubborn. So the decision was reversed, not because of my qualification. Okay, so not one of my references described me as loud. So I don't know where loud came from.
27 seconds remaining.
What they described was a teacher of the game, energy, passion, accountability, and committed. And stubborn, yes, that word may apply to me, but not in a negative way it was portrayed. I'm stubborn in the sense that I don't quit on kids. I'm stubborn in the sense that I don't lower standards when things get difficult. I'm stubborn in the sense that I stay committed to building something the right way, no matter the challenges.
Thank you, John.
Can I leave information?
Yes.
Right here? Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Sydney and Madison.
Good evening, board members. We are seniors at Vista Del Lago High School to raise concern about waste management and recycling practices across our school sites, specifically the lack of consistent and recycling policies and implementation.
At present, we have been informed that our school does not have clear recycling regulations or district-wide standards. In addition, multiple teachers' reports indicate in some classrooms, recycling and trash materials are being combined by custodial staff during collection. This practice effectively eliminates any opportunity for actual recycling, even when students and staff are making efforts to separate materials correctly.
This is not just a protocol issue, it directly affects student learning, environmental responsibility, and the district's sustainability goals. Many students are actively taught the importance of recycling in science and environmental units, yet the system in practice does not support those lessons. This creates a disconnect between what is being taught and what is actually being done.
We also understand from prior conversations with school administration that there is currently no formal recycling policy being enforced at the school level. That absence of structure is exactly what we are asking the district to address.
We are not here to assign blame to custodial staff or individual schools. Instead, this is a systems issue that requires district-level guidance.
We are requesting the following actions. 1, establish a district-wide recycling policy that clearly defines expectations for classrooms, cafeterias, and custodial procedures.
2, to ensure proper separation of waste streams and maintained during collection and disposal, with accountability measures so recycling is not combined with trash.
3, provide training and resources for custodial and staff teams so procedures are clear, consistent, and feasible.
To install clear signage and standardized bins across all classrooms and common areas so expectations are consistent and easy to follow.
And last, to publish measurable sustainability goals or reportings so the district can track whether recycling efforts are actually being implemented.
We would also like clarification on whether the district currently follows any county, state, or environmental education standards related to waste reduction and recycling in schools. If such standards exist, we also ask how these are being implemented and why they are not currently visible in practice.
Students are being taught to care about environmental responsibility. We are asking that the systems in place match that instruction.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Stan Jones, please come to the podium. Stan Jones.
So Stan Jones, Rancho Cordova since 1987. Been coming to school board meetings since 1977. And I had a thought listening to the Pledge of Allegiance for a country that this year is 250 years old. And I started thinking about that a little bit and in relationship to history. I didn't know my parents until about 3 years ago. But the people that adopted me, my mother was born in 1898. She went to school in a horse and buggy pulled by horses. She watched people walk on the moon. Imagine the things that have happened in her lifetime. So then I started thinking about my lifetime. This is 250 years of our country. And I was born in 1944, early. If you count the time when the sperm hit the egg and produced me as the result, I've been alive for 1/3 of the time the United States of America has existed. A lot has happened, and a lot of good things have happened for our kids graduating from Cordova High School as well. It's a good district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Stan. Those are all the comments.
Okay, we'll move on to item 10, reports of district organizations, and we will start with our student advisory board.
Give me 1 second, sorry, I'm pulling up. Okay, so we actually have quite a few updates today. It's been a very, very exciting few months. All right, so building on the spirit of closing the achievement gap and recognizing the disparities that exist in our educational system, I want to briefly share about the importance of International Night in FCUSD. And if you didn't see on our programs, we included this quote from a TEDx speaker. I cannot pronounce her name correctly, but I'm going to share the quote. Stories matter. Many stories matter. Stories have been used to dispossess and to malign, but stories can also be used to empower and to humanize. Stories can break the dignity of a people, but stories can also repair that broken dignity. So Adichie's words, which I just shared, capture our purpose for organizing International Night. The stories we tell of an individual and a people matter because they can promote belonging and connection. So as a result of that, we aim to uplift the voices too often overlooked by uniting our district's 2 cities for an evening of multicultural storytelling. So thank you to our FCUSD community for supporting this special event. The Student Advisory Board worked very hard to make that night possible, and we really hoped you enjoyed watching. And SAB is excited to continue embracing the diversity that strengthens our community alongside you all. So thank you all for your continuous support on that. And next up, and also our next SAB meeting and our last SAB meeting actually will be May 21st here in the boardroom.
And so now we would like to move on and present to you guys one of our student board members, because one of them, Janine Wallace, couldn't make it today as she is very sick. But I would like to say a few words about Nina.
Test.
All right.
Eveline, we're back up and running if you want to.
Okay, so I will. So as I was saying, I would like to say a few words about Nina. So a student who I believe truly represents the voice, character, and spirit of the students at her school. As you can see on the board, she is from Cordova High School. Throughout her high school experience, she has continuously challenged herself academically, contributed to her community, and grown as a leader both inside and outside of the classroom. She has earned honor roll for the past 3 years, while she consistently is taking honors classes that have strengthened her work ethic, responsibility, and critical thinking skills. In addition to her academics, Nina has been actively involved in athletics through volleyball, where she has developed strong teamwork, discipline, communication, and leadership skills. She is also enrolled in a patient care class where she has gained valuable hands-on experience in healthcare while learning the importance of compassion and helping others. Personally, I have known Nina since middle school, and I can confidently say she is someone who brings authenticity, energy, and laughter into every room she walks into. And she represents students from a relatable and genuine standpoint. And she is never afraid to speak up when something is wrong or when students need a voice. I have seen firsthand how real, honest, and caring she is, which are all qualities that make an outstanding student board member. And I truly believe Nina will represent the students at her school with integrity, confidence, and heart. And I'm proud to present her to you all today and excited for her next term. Thank you.
And if for those who don't know, we have 2 student board members because our district spans across 2 cities. So our second student board member is Sam. Sam, do you want to come up to the podium? I'm going to say a few words about Sam because Mia and Van did this for us last year, so I'm going to say. I've only known Sam for just this year, but she's been so impactful not only in SAB, but she's been such a great friend, and I've just greatly enjoyed getting to know you this year. One of my favorite memories with Sam is at the Folsom Student Advisory Board meeting. She came up to me and was like, Addie, I think I might want to run for student board member. But she's like, I don't really know. I'm kind of conflicted. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm here to convince you. So we talked for basically the next 30 minutes. We got lunch together and she just ranted about all of her concerns and just was all the worries that I was going through when I was still deciding to run. And with my experience, I called Mia. I was on the phone with Mia for an hour and I just was like, Mia, I don't think I could do it. I think this girl's gonna be me, all this stuff. And it was such a full circle moment because I was walking around Folsom High carrying my school lunch with Sam. And she was like, I feel like I've done a lot, but I don't really know if it's gonna be enough, I really wanna do this though because I wanna get to know more students and I really wanna connect with people. And I was like, that's perfect. That's
the motivation and the mindset you should be going into this with. And so I'm so excited for for her to step into this role. I remember, and yeah, I'm just so proud of you and for making it throughout your whole campaign. And now that you're finally here, and now I'm just gonna have her say a few words.
Yes, hi, I'm Sam Davies. I am so honored to be joining you as student board member next year. This is really something that I've sought after for the past couple of years. I joined SAB 4 years ago as in 7th grade. Didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know it was gonna become a multi-year commitment and really grow a love for student advocacy and meeting new people and, like Addie said, connecting with people. That's really something that I love to do and that I've always tried to do in everything that I've signed up for, which, trust me, is a lot. You can ask my father. I do everything. I do school theater, I do student government, I do volunteer for youth cheer, and everything that I do, I just want to connect with people. So I'm really looking forward to doing that with all of you guys next year, and I'm just super excited. Thank you.
And I'll just mention, Sam, I know you probably want to sit next to Dad, but for future board meetings, we have your name on a thing and a seat for you until these seniors head off to college, and then you can join us up at the dais.
Fantastic. Okay, we will move on to California School Employees Association.
Oh wait, do we want to take a picture with Sam in the slideshow?
The question is, does Rob want to take a picture? Let's actually wait until both join. Would that be okay, or do you want to do?
Do we want to wait until both? I think we should just. Can we do one?
Yes, we can, Addie. You're the boss. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Do it.
It's all yours. Yeah. No, Dad takes a picture.
No, next meeting, next meeting, there will be two.
This 2 minutes break is anyway needed.
This is not making me
You guys are awesome.
Rob, you're up.
Good evening, President Lorette, board members, Superintendent Swanson. Happy to be here tonight. I've been here with you guys for almost 4 years now. I had the great honor of being the president for classified staff bestowed on me 4 years ago. May even run again this coming year. Who knows? More to be seen. I would be doing a great disservice to my staff if I didn't bring some issues to you. This isn't my strong suit. I'm not a public speaker, never have been. I'm more of a connect with people. I'm a people person. But I do talk to all the staff and I experience and feel all their issues. And one of the issues is compensation and how we're handling compensation. You heard Alyssa speak earlier. We have a lot of paraeducators in this district. In years past, this was a coveted job. Over the years since inflation has hit us, we have not been able to keep up with inflation, with the cost. funding's bad. I know Sean's doing his best to do everything for us. We've had some great add-ons the past few years with nonstop and contributions to less than 8 hours for medical cap for our folks. Those are big helps for classified folks, and I thank Sean all the time for that. I am very appreciative of that part. A 0.5% raise is not sustainable for our people. That's about 20 cents if you make $40 an hour. So 20 cents, it's not acceptable. We did get some good news that COLA could go up as high as 2.8, and we hope that is reflective in the counteroffer they're going to give us, because our counteroffer is going to be reflective on what the staff feels they need. It's not going to be a realistic offer. It'll be a counteroffer that we feel we need to be able to survive on a regular basis. There is a special ratification meeting scheduled for the 12th of this month to ratify MOUs 16, 17, and 18. I look forward to you and applaud all the managers that applied and signed up for CSEW Week to shadow. We are totally looking forward to that event and can't wait until it happens. Reception on the 22nd. We're all family here. Love you all. Have a great night.
Thank you. We'll move to Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Good evening, board members, FCUSD administrators, certificated and classified staff, and community members. I also want to recognize our FCEA members working tonight at open houses, participating in our Cinco de Mayo celebration, attending teacher induction events, and supporting their own children's activities. It is a busy time of year. Thank you as well to our CSEA partners for being here tonight. My name is Tracy Suter, and I'll be speaking on behalf of FCEA. At the March 19th board meeting, presentations on math adoption and student screen time, along with board comments, highlighted something we agree on. Our members are critical drivers of student success and are a leverage point in meeting the district performance targets. We appreciate the positive comments from board members Reed and Lorette about the spirit they've seen this year and the district and the direction the district is moving in. However, we are concerned that there are some danger signs ahead and continued progress will not be made unless the people central to that forward progress are fully recognized in the district budget. This year, FCUSD began the first phase of the student survey process focused on employee and family connectedness. Two needs stood out clearly from staff surveys: communication and trust. Connectedness is difficult without trust, and trust is difficult without clear communication and meaningful staff involvement in decisions that affect students in classrooms. An additional takeaway that caught our eye is that teachers do believe their work is impactful. We have to. Teaching is hard. If we don't have the internal feeling that today we have the opportunity to positively impact someone's future, then why get up and drive to work? It is intrinsic on our part. According to the same survey, teachers don't feel recognized externally when there's good work. That discrepancy impacts connectedness, morale, and trust. As a district, there is work to do. The summative qualitative feedback on the Studer survey reinforced several consistent themes. Staff want meaningful input on district programs and initiatives. Please listen to us. We have value to provide as collaborative partners. Teachers want greater transparency in terms of communication and application of resources at sites and through ESC departments. We even saw recommendations to fund paras bell to bell. We can't do our jobs without the partnership of CSEA members. And staff are deeply concerned about compensation and healthcare affordability. Recognition is not just performance targets achievement or appreciation statements. It is how employees are treated day to day, professionally and financially. This slide highlights a significant retention concern. As part of our work on developing a new evaluation system, We need to check the ratio between admin FTE at sites versus teachers needing evaluation next year, which includes restarting evaluations for permanent or tenured teachers who have been held in abeyance. About 2 years ago, we had the permanent teaching force broken into 3 cohorts of years 2 through 8, 9 through 18, and 19 plus. But when we reviewed the data this year, those numbers had shifted. We eventually settled on cohorts of 2 to 5 years, 6 to 12, and 13 or more years. You'll note that year 1 is missing. Our first-year tenured teachers have had several years of evaluations and deserve a break. You'll also note that these are only for our 23 elementaries, 4 middle schools, and 3 comprehensive high schools, because that was the work we were doing for our evaluation process plans. More than 50% of the teachers at our schools in classrooms with kids have 5 years or less experience in this district. And our mid-year middle experience group has thinned considerably. We've been seeing a large number of hires these last few years in August that can't be explained solely by retirements or growth. This data adds more evidence to validate that we are not retaining our teaching force. Veteran educators are critical to school culture, mentorship, and stability, and the data shows FCUSD is struggling to retain them. It is also important to recognize that on that March 19th board meeting, that several area districts were either on strike or preparing to strike. The recently settled contracts at Twin Rivers and Natomas have been in the news, and our members are seeing, in particular, the health benefits from those agreements. Our members see those settlements and naturally compare them to FCUSD's current offer. In her president's report at the last board meeting, Jeanette Sansenbach mentioned some regrets that FCEA had not joined CTA's We Can Wait effort based on the district's original proposal. We've been able to work through things in the past and hope to do so again, but it is a discussion we are having within our organization. We remain committed to solve things collaboratively, as we have in the past, but these comparisons matter. This slide reflects changes from last year's unaudited actuals to this year's second interim budget. Enrollment and ADA growth are positives. Before anyone behind me gets excited about the $96 million carryover, please note it's not just unrestricted funds that we bargained for, it is everything. And the district has to have money in carryover because there are checks that have been written and not yet cashed. Money must be spent now, even if federal reimbursements follow a year or 2 later. What this is really is a sign of a healthy, well-maintained district budget. From our perspective, that means there's flexibility to both address over time the structural deficit concerns and to invest in employee retention and compensation. We also recognize the positive certification recommendation at second interim and the ongoing work being done through SBAC to improve efficiency and manage costs. I want to delve a little deeper into one of those numbers. CTA recommends looking not just at COLAs, but also at certificated salaries as a percentage of district outgo. Districts with at least 40% in this area see better retention. Historically, and we went pre-COVID because COVID data can be funky, FUSD has exceeded 40% in this area. Today, that percentage has declined, and that last red column from the second interim will likely tick lower once the last 30% of unfilled position funding is removed. This matters because education is fundamentally a people-driven profession. Student success depends on retaining high-quality teachers, counselors, nurses, psychologists, SLPs, and support staff. When compensation falls behind, retention suffers. The Superintendent's Budget Advisory Committee has spent substantial time reviewing departmental budgets, contracts, efficiencies, and long-term obligations. We appreciate the work being done to identify savings and improve systems, including transportation efficiencies, special education adjustments that will, most importantly, improve services for students, while also better managing limited resources. I also want to highlight OPEB, an investment account that sets money aside in anticipation of future retiree medical costs. Currently, the district is transferring over $1 million out of the general fund into this account. State projections of COLA have COLA picking up in outgoing years, and our internal reviews are finding efficiencies that can be applied to deficit concerns. We could hold off adding additional funding to OPEB for the short term and let the accounts continue to grow with interest until such a time as we feel we can fund it fully again. At our last SBAC meeting, we started to see a thorough review of all outside contracts. This stretches from legal through all the departments. It is still too early to see the end result, and I suspect that some of these contracts will move to new vendors that hopefully supply better service for less money. Some truly are gone, and some are already in the second interim budget, but this is hopefully an ongoing practice to review FCUSD's fiscal practices in order to identify spending efficiencies or opportunities for additional revenue. FCEA believes these efforts are important because limited resources should prioritize the people directly serving students every day. And that starts with a thorough review of all of our current fiscal practices. To summarize, FCUSD has a retention issue. The Studer survey identified concerns around trust and connectedness. And there are still many financial unknowns ahead, including the May revise, Prop 98 settle-up funding, and long-term health care affordability. On February 11th, the district proposed the following: continuing the additional PD day, maintaining the current health care relief formula, a 0.5% salary increase, and interest in a multi-year agreement. We understand the district's funding calculations are to set a floor, but our members do not view that 0.5% as an adequate response or an appropriate offer. On April 15th, FCEA presented a 2-year counterproposal. Our proposal continues one-time monies to support benefit cost offsets and the additional PD day, while limiting ongoing costs to salary improvements. This proposal would extend the instructional calendar agreement for 2 additional years, providing continuity for planning and compensation. For our members, it's about 0.5% additional pay, although it's very hard for people to remember that it is temporary because we've been adding this year after year. This would extend through the 28-29 school year. The chart that looks like newsprint was from the district's February 11th offer when we did not yet have renewal rates, but used the current formula from this year, half the difference between WHA premium and the caps, along with an estimated increase in WHA premiums. The second chart is from FCEA's April answer, where we started by recalculating the district's offer with more updated WHA renewal information. I should also point out that all of this happened before last week when Kaiser suddenly became the least expensive of our healthcare options. It is important to understand what these numbers mean for newer educators. As an example from our previous slide, over 50% of our teachers at our school sites have 5 years experience or less. If we use the salary of column 2, step 5, the higher end for that group, and assume that they get their salaries dispersed over a 10-month schedule, their gross monthly pay would be $6,633. After taxes, $4,850. If you take a look at the yellow box, we pay healthcare, which at the time WHA was the cheapest, tenthly. So about $625 is already going to your healthcare. I'm a single parent with 2 students taking WHA. After the $625 comes out, I still have rent, food, childcare. Someone's probably gonna need shoes. For many employees, affordability is becoming a real barrier to staying in this district. You might also note I use tenthly, which means they're not getting a check in July or at the end of June. So hopefully there's another job, because even if they're not paying healthcare, there's a lot of other expenses to deal with. Our proposal does not increase the healthcare caps itself. We show the caps up there from last year when we added the +1 category. Instead, it adjusts the formula to better support employees with dependents where costs are highest, and a new formula featuring flat rates. We also included protections if healthcare increases exceed projections during the second year of a 2-year agreement. On salary, FCEA is proposing 6% increase over 2 years. All calculations are based on current COLA projections, both from the governor's January budget and the LAO, Legislative Analyst Office, estimates, not one of the rosier projection groups in the state. ADA data from both the second interim budget and the subsequent P2 calculation, which came in a tick lower this year. While there are increasing signs that the May revise will have good financial news for districts, details are not yet out. Based on available information, we believe this proposal is responsible, data-driven, and financially realistic. To conclude, we agree with the sentiments from our first slide. Our membership is critical to helping our students achieve the district's performance targets, whether it's 3rd grade literacy, 6th through 8th grade math proficiency, or 9th through 12th grade career and college readiness. Our members, in partnership with CSEA and FCLA members, are working every day to achieve these goals. However, success depends on retaining and supporting the people doing that work. Recognition must be more than words. Employees need to feel heard, valued, and supported, both professionally and financially. The district's first salary offer did not meet that criteria. Budgets reflect priorities. If connectedness and student success are truly priorities, the budget must reflect that commitment. We believe our proposals are responsible, focused on retention, and designed to support long-term district success. We hope that this continue to be resolved collaboratively and locally. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Well, good evening, President Lorette, members of the board, Superintendent Swanson. So in the spirit, while you're here, in the spirit of Staff Appreciation Week, we know these final weeks are challenging, the energy is high, and patience can run thin. So that being said, we know that many of you that are leaving, you show up every single day. For our students, and there certainly aren't enough thank yous to go around. So please know that for all of our members of FCUSD, you are appreciated. And that being said, first, our site administrators have completed the first year of the evaluation pilot, which introduced our NASOP model of instruction as a foundational coaching tool. And this model is helping us build more open, reflective, and improvement-focused conversations with our teachers. And we do look forward to reviewing the feedback and continuing to refine the process as we strengthen our instructional support. And then secondly, and finally, FCLA recently held elections for next year, our executive board, and we're excited to welcome some new voices and perspectives to the team. We've also grown. But I will formally introduce them at our next board meeting on May 21st. So thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to District English Learner Advisory Committee.
No report.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll move on to board committees. First one, artificial intelligence. Anything to report? Nope. Okay, budget advisory.
We are wrapping up for this year. I know I think one more is Monday, right, Sean? Yep, and we are summarizing it. I think Eric Swanson and Sean, they're going to give us a high-level summary for everybody, what happened in the last 6 to 8 months. And also we are planning to continue the similar one next year as well. Maybe not this intense, but at least once in a month. That's at high level summary from the Budget Advisory Committee.
Fantastic. Curriculum Advisory.
We had a meeting with quite a few course outlines that went through, and we will see them all on our next meeting on the 21st.
Fantastic. Okay. District facilities. I guess I'm just going to say a little bit something about district facilities. They're cranking as they have been all year long. I think one project that's like pretty exciting though is some work that's going to be done at Folsom High School's parking lot, which I think will be a very much needed project. So we'll be working on that this summer and next summer, and hoping to see a little bit of a better flow to that parking lot as we kind of move forward with that.
Wait, what are they doing to the parking lot?
I think it's gonna be like some better directional signage, some arrows, some bollards. Yeah, because as you know, it can get a little squirrely once you get in there of what direction you're supposed to go. So they're gonna be working on a lot of that, and then putting in some bollards, I believe, in some spots where you're not supposed to be parking, where we have, I don't even necessarily think it's necessarily our parents, but when we host things, we have other people visiting with us are randomly parking in weird areas.
I mean, like on the curbs,
on
by
the
the
curbs.
trees.
Yeah.
I got stuck in that
On the
roundabout
curbs,
before.
on the grass, up on the,
I
by the
never did
stadium,
that in my big
right?
truck when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Never.
You did.
I got stuck in that huge roundabout before. I was like, oh shoot, I took the wrong lane and I was just going in circles around the grass. I was like, oh great.
Well, clearly, I think that facilities identified the need, and it's a much needed project, so that's very exciting. And then we'll have some other facility items that are coming up later in the agenda. Policy committee?
We had a meeting, and the policies that we reviewed will be next meeting, I believe it is. Yeah.
Fantastic. Safety?
Safety Committee, I think on April 23rd, we had a very good community meeting about the safety aspects on the drugs and how two great speakers came. Forgive me, I didn't remember both of them, but they spoke so excellent about how do you tap your kids early on in a friendly way, not knowing you are asking them, you are doing something not quite right. So that went very well, but only thing is I wish we could have been more participation from the parents. It's about 30 parents, give or take, attended. It is a virtual one. There is one more coming about the internet safety in the month of October. So they'll have 3 times a year the safety committee presentations for the public, and probably we will encourage more parents in multiple ways to join them. So we want to see more parents participation, and there is a lot of time for Q&A. People ask us on the walkways and Costco billing lines about the safety things, but I highly encourage parents especially, and we do have that QR code. You can definitely submit any of those. Safety is a concern if you have it. Thank you.
I'm actually really encouraged by even the 30 parents that came to that, because that is definitely more than we were having in our in-person safety committee meetings. So I think that that's a growth.
It's a growth.
Yeah. Okay, special education. Okay. City of Folsom Joint Coordination 2x2.
Yeah, well, we had a meeting this morning. On the agenda, we talked about e-bikes. The City of Folsom Police Department has asked the district to consider a ban on level 2 e-bikes.
Type 2 e-bikes in middle schools.
Yeah, in middle school. And something that the superintendent's going to reach out to, I believe, the Rockland School District. I believe they had, we were told that a year ago they did a similar action. So the Superintendent Swanson's going to reach out to the superintendent there to learn more about what they did, and we'll revisit that conversation. Also on the agenda, you kind of already mentioned the Folsom High School improvements, parking lot improvements. Again, that's over the next 2 summers, but we brought that to the attention of the city as well. We had a debrief of our 5x5x5 joint meeting with the city of Folsom City Council and the city of Rancho Cordova City Council, just to get feedback, what they thought. Did they see, pros, cons, anything that we could do better? Is this something that they would be interested in doing annually? And it was a very positive response. In fact, the folks at the 2x2 thought that it would be valuable to, I'm sorry, 5x5. It was the 2x2. That a 5x5x5 annually would make sense. They thought it was probably maybe around March of every year it would make sense, and they really liked the connectivity with the local workforce. Obviously, we can have other topics. In fact, I think they had mentioned safety was one of the topics that might be relevant on a joint meeting in the future. We talked about the next elementary school, which we're voting on shortly, Rocky Ridge. And then we also brought to their attention the district's efforts, well, soon-to-be efforts. This is coming to a future board meeting as well, but to curtail curbside signage at school sites. We've had complaints from the public that some of our school sites are starting to look like billboards, externally facing signs that are along the sidewalks. The residents have a concern about that, so it's something that Policy Committee and Facilities Committee is looking at, and potentially resulting in some policy changes that will be brought back to the board. But any changes that we would be looking at doing, I think the goal is to start in the beginning of the school year, so basically early August. And that was, and then we also just had a quick debrief on the crank phone calls that unfortunately came in as security threats on Tuesday, and basically talked about that a little bit. So our next meeting isn't until the next school year, September 3rd.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, we'll move on to the City of Rancho Cordova Joint Coordination 2x2. The majority of that conversation stemmed from the meeting last week that the City Council had on the Measure H funding, and wanted to extend our appreciation for hundreds of thousands of dollars actually that will be coming to Folsom Cordova Unified to support different initiatives within our school district. And then really that conversation extended to how can we support going through the applications a little bit better and providing a little bit more data to them, so that when they're asking, because they're flying a little bit blind when they get the applications in, as far as like reading and literacy and different things like that, so that we can provide a little bit more context and data to them, because their biggest concern is that they want to make sure that the money that they're sending over to us, that is money, first of all, that is going to programs that we want to have supported, because these are, a lot of them are sometimes outside vendors. And then also making sure that we're providing that data so that we're getting the most bang for the tax dollar, and just really being good stewards of those funding. So I'm looking forward to, I think we're going to have a lot more joint coordination with them through that process, and their thought of really having a comprehensive youth council going forward with the City of Rancho Cordova that will have different members of our community, and we definitely have an invitation to be on that. To talk about some of the things that are happening with our youth, and then how we can collectively come together to support that. And I think that actually kind of goes along with our achievement gap conversation, and really, I think, highlighting that to the members on that committee to see how we can come together as communities to close that gap, not only from within our classrooms, but from our outside community. So, and I think that's the majority of what that conversation really was on that one. So, okay, with that, we will move on to item 11, public hearing.
I'd love to invite Executive Director Craig Rouse to the microphone. We've covered developer fees at a at a past board meeting, and this is a continuation of that.
Yep.
Mr. Rouse.
So let me open the public hearing first. It's okay, it's okay.
I saw Rochelle, but I didn't know what she was doing. My bad. Yeah.
Opening the public hearing. All right, Mr. Ross.
Good evening, Board President Larrett, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Swanson. Staff is recommending tonight for the board to hold a public hearing for approval of the extension of the urgency implementation of levying of statutory development impact fees authorized by Education Code Sections 17620 and 17621 to address the school construction costs. So this urgency implementation will only affect the commercial rate. The district is currently getting level 2 rates for residential.
Fantastic. Okay, I don't think we can go ahead and close that public hearing. And we'll open the next public hearing. Mr. Ross?
Staff is recommending the board hold a public hearing to approve a grant of easement with SMUD for the Cordova Elementary School, Cordova Villa Elementary School. And what this does is this gives SMUD an easement and the right to do any work on any new utility construction and or repair any of their utility lines that run, in front of the campus.
Fantastic. Okay, doesn't look like we have any public comment, so we will go ahead and close that. Okay, we'll move on to discussion action. Item A, adopt resolution number 05-07-26-53, extension of the urgency implementation of the statutory development impact fees per Education Code sections 17620 and 17621. Any questions from the board? No public comment. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to item B, adopt resolution number 05-07-26-54, intent to grant an easement to the Sacramento Municipal Utility District at Cordova Villa Elementary School.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Reed, second by Mr. Chalem-Churla.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item C, approve contractor for leaseback contract and adopt resolution number 05-07-26-55, approve construction agreements with Auto Construction, Cordova High School modernization and new construction project.
Okay,
Mr. Rouse, you have a comfortable spot up there. Go for it.
Okay, thank you. So the district staff reissued a request for proposals, RFP, for leaseback services for the Cordova High School modernization and new construction project to secure a qualified contractor to deliver the remaining pre-construction scope of work. We received 6 proposals, which is really good for this time of year. And out of those 6 proposals, we went on ahead and we did some scoring for best value. We brought them in for an interview process. We selected 3 firms for the interview process, and the district staff and Lionakis architectural firm evaluated the criteria, conducted the interviews, and is recommending Auto Construction to go ahead and complete the pre-construction services. Once they complete the pre-construction services, they'll immediately go right back in and start working on the guaranteed maximum price GMP and putting together the bid packages to start this work. This work's going to start this summer, so we're moving very quickly to get this back up to speed. We have maintained the schedule of this project, and we haven't lost a beat out there. So with that, staff is recommending the Board of Education to approve Auto Construction as a contractor for the Cordova High School modernization and new construction project, adopt resolution number 05-07-26-55, approving the contract with Auto Construction and authorize staff to execute any necessary contracts to move forward.
Questions from the board?
Craig, quickly though, I know I forgot to ask Mr. Swanson. This is as good as a brand new contract? Even though we are sending one vendor out?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Cost-wise, none. I know there may be an old cost out there.
Correct. So should be minimal impact at all, if any, to cost and schedule, to pick up where we left off to go forward.
Yeah, Mr. Ross, could you just kind of go into a little bit of the background of why we're making this change? Is that possible? Short?
Yes.
Thank you.
So the contractor that was awarded for this contract did not meet the requirements of schedule, and there were some concerns about the bid packages that we're putting out. And in our contract, when you have a pre-construction services, it allows the district to evaluate the contractor up to pre-construction services, and if they're not performing to the level that the district needs, then we can terminate for cause and then bring someone else in to finish the remaining portion of that contract and then use the new contractor to complete the construction services.
This is, to be honest with you, I have a much more in-depth through facilities. This is definitely, I think, a positive move for us. I think based off of some of the feedback that we had gotten, we weren't going to be making timelines that the original contractor had committed to. And it sounded like also like there was going to be some additional costs that they were also going to be putting in that we did not agree to on the front end of it. So this is really a cost balancing for us to keep on our original budget. And had we continued with the original one, we would have been over budget and behind schedule, which is unacceptable. So I think that's long and short of it.
Yes.
Based off of an hour-long meeting on it.
So, yeah, my only point is here, I'm not denying on any of the facts. In fact, I'm appreciating, sometimes if somebody is not performing, cut the card, let them go, rather than making it as twice the cost for our district, because change order comes all the time. This, that's why I was asking that question. This is as good as a brand new RFO evaluation, 6 vendors, and each might have definitely put some cost into the remaining work. You have done through the evaluation, all good stuff happened, but it is not visible here. That's the only point I'm making, right? If anybody sees it, the dollar is none. And you have pulled 6 vendors and you have done thorough job. And last time, I do remember you guys have presented very nicely, hey, each vendor is this is their capabilities, this is how they scored, and here is the final. That's the only point I'm making here. I'm not denying the fact, what you have executed. A vendor is not performing, he's out. So that's the only point I'm making here.
So in the future, just when if we have
Yeah.
a change like this, you just
What-
want to see the scoring rubric.
Scoring and the cost value, because it is altogether the remaining work, brand new contract. Okay. Thank you.
Will do.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions or comments? Doesn't look like we have any public comments, so with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Reed,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item D, adopt resolution number 05-07-26-56 in support of the California School Board Association CSBA SOS for Student Achievement Campaign.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I'm going to start us off and then I'm going to hand it over to Trustee Clark. Trustee Clark brought this to our attention a few board meetings ago as it relates to the California School Boards Association SOS for Student Achievement Campaign with a request for a resolution. So we wanted to make sure that we gave an entire picture before we got to this resolution, and that's why you saw Dr. Huber and Dr. Pitt earlier do the presentation on the achievement gap. One of the things that I wanted to name in this resolution, or not in the resolution, but in the rationale, is that this board has already taken action prior to this SOS by CSBA as a district that is really passionate about meeting students where they're at and minimizing, if not closing, the achievement gap, as evidenced by the literacy resolution that you adopted a year ago, along with a lot of other things. But that's just that resolution codifies your expectation of all third graders being at or above grade level by third grade in literacy. So this resolution by CSBA is more about a call to action for the state in aligning its resources and knowing that this is a very important issue in our state and it's something that needs to be addressed by state officials. And then I'll hand it over to you, Trustee Clark.
Thank you, Superintendent Swanson. Colleagues, this is not another item on our agenda. It's a call to action. The SOS for Student Achievement underscores the reality that we can no longer afford to accept persistent achievement gaps, particularly for our students of color. It continues to exist despite our best local efforts.
Our students only get one chance in their education, one chance. And it is our responsibility to make sure that that chance is not defined by the inconsistency, fragmentation, or systems that were never designed to fully serve them. Addressing this challenge requires more than acknowledgement. It demands bold leadership. It requires us and boards across the state that I have visited to step forward and challenge the status quo, to advocate for a system that is aligned, responsive, and truly centered on our student success. As a state director for CSBA, I am proud to support this resolution and endorsing the CSBA's SOS for Student Achievement campaign because it directly confronts the systemic barriers that continue to limit outcomes for too many of our students. Here in our district, we see both progress and inequity side by side. And while we remain deeply committed to doing our part locally, we cannot close these gaps alone. A fragmented state system will continue to produce fragmented results. What we need and what this effort calls for is a coherent, aligned approach that brings together policy, funding, and support in a way that meets the needs of students and realities of our district. The proposed state operations and support plan is not just a technical adjustment, it is a necessary shift, a shift towards coordination, towards efficiency, and towards a system that responds with urgency and clarity to the needs of our students of color. And just as important as the principle of shared accountability, the state of California, the city of Rancho Cordova, the city of Folsom must be more than a regulator. It must be a true partner because student success is not a local issue or a state issue. It is a shared responsibility and it requires shared ownership. By supporting this resolution, we are making a clear statement. We are not satisfied with the incremental progress where inequities persist. We are committed to equity, to excellence, and to building a system that works for every student, not just some. This is about outcomes. This is about opportunity. And most importantly, this is about students. And I strongly urge my colleagues to support this resolution. And I am open to any questions from the board.
Not really a question, but thank you for bringing this forward to us and us being sort of a leader in pushing this forward. I also wanted to kind of jump on as this is a reminder to us as a board and reflecting back to Masters of Governance, one of the biggest things that they teach is the time we spend sitting up here talking about what's important and the priorities kind of reflects where we put our priorities as a district. And there are times where our conversations drift away, I think, from student success and academic success and the data that we were looking at today. And I think that this can serve as a reminder to us as a board that we are part of the system. We're a really important part of the system and a model statewide in terms of pushing things forward and eventually being the best district in the state. And so I think that this helps serve us as a reminder of where our focus needs to remain as a board. So, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? No public comment, so with that.
I just also wanted to say I really appreciate this initiative. Thank you, Mr. Clark, for bringing this forward.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Mr. Clark.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item E, approval of the relocation of elementary school number 3 to support enrollment growth in the Folsom planning area.
Mr. Rouse, welcome back.
Good evening again. This is regarding the planning that the district has been for the Granite Springs Elementary School down in the West Folsom area. The Toll Brothers development has ran into some environmental concerns, which has delayed their approval at the city to get their tentative map approved so they could start development, which means that the infrastructure coming into the school has also been delayed. Now, for the school site itself, the school district is required to have the state approval for environmental concerns, DTSC, Department of Toxic Substance Control. And it's just a very long process. So we've been working with DTSC for the last, since I've been here 6 months, and prior to me coming on board, 7 months. And they are requiring more testing that we have our engineer doing, and the testing is going to take another few months. And then once we determine the testing, then that would require a remediation plan, could take up to a year. So with the Toll Brothers combination of their delays of getting the infrastructure, and then also the concerns we're having on DTSC, and also the fact that the Toll Brothers not being able to bring the development into that area, we're not seeing the enrollment projections, the housing coming in, which student growth will not be coming into that west area. So that kind of moved us to look at where is that growth coming, and it's coming up to the east area, East Roseville.
Folsom, former Rockland employee. Holy cow, one demerit.
That's great.
East Folsom.
East Folsom. But Lennar has already brought the infrastructure up to the site. So we have the street, the curbs, and all of the wet utilities up to the site. They had used that site to bring all their spoils onto that site while they've been developing the home. So we've been working with Lennar to start removing those soils off the site. And within the next few weeks, we'll be able to test the soil up there, which we understand or believing that we're not going to find the same environmental conditions or concerns that we're having down at the other site. So with the enrollment projections much higher in this area because the house is already built, and the other concerns for the delay in construction, we believe that we can get this site, if we move it up to this area, Rocky Ridge Elementary School, and projected to keep this school to open in 28, 29, and keep this on schedule to do that. And it's going to be a very tight schedule. So, kudos to our team to make that adjustment and working with our consultants and our contractors and architects to make that shift. The school site fits on the lot. We're working with the city on the entrance to the campus. The driveways have to line up. They have a park right next to the school that'll be in construction about the same time as the school is being built. There was concerns that the school is 8 feet higher than the park. Working with the city, they're going to have a walkway up to the campus, and we'll have a gate there, and so we'll be able to have access to the school, and that was a big concern from the district side and the city side. So in collaboration with the city and the PD to work with that, I think we're moving at a very good clip. So our recommendation tonight would be to the Board of Education to relocate elementary school number 3 to support the enrollment growth and get this project back on schedule up to the East Folsom area. That's the W.
Folsom.
Okay, no more messing around, sorry.
Any questions?
Yeah, actually, it's not really a question. I just want, for the public's benefit, I know occasionally when the facility is discussed, the word asbestos comes up a lot. And I guess this is more an educational opportunity. So the state rock is called serpentinite. It's a green rock. Maybe, if you live in Folsom, and you're digging around, usually you get your Folsom potatoes, but occasionally you find a green rock. That is actually what asbestos comes from. So the state chose basically the rock that generates asbestos as their state rock, which I find kind of funny. Although, I guess to be fair to the state, they designated in 1965 when every kid's pajamas were made out of asbestos. But anyway, makes you wonder why they haven't changed the state rock. But anyway, but that's the only reason I just, sometimes the public gets very anxious when they hear like, oh, we have asbestos in our soil. It's all over California. So what we do is we have to mitigate that. And part of the mitigation is taking out some of the existing soil and supplementing on top of it clean soil. I just wanted to mention that for anybody in the public who got a little nervous.
We're very fortunate that Roebland Construction has built a couple of schools within Folsom Cordova with that same NOA, natural occurring asbestos. And they actually wrote the DTSC guidelines back when they built Vista Del Lago High School. So they're very familiar with what's going to take to get that, to make it a clean site. So we're confident we can keep that on the track, on schedule.
Yeah. No, I just want to make re-echo what you said. We build the schools where the homes are coming. So I just want to repeat that same statement again. I know a couple of people ask me, because I live in that district and I represent that district, why we are moving the school from here to there. But they have to understand the whole history. And this morning we were at the city office and they were echoing as well. Now, the more development, more construction is coming on the east side of Folsom up in the hill. So to accommodate everybody, we are building the school there first. Eventually, school 4 may be coming again down near that, what is that builder? I'm sorry.
Toll Brothers.
Toll Brothers, and in Folsom, not in Roswell. I'm just kidding. So I just want to reiterate to the community, whosoever is listening, we are planning to build a third school where the more homes are being built, and most of those schools will be going on that side. It eases up the Alder Creek and Manjini Ranch to accommodate the nearby homes. So I just want to repeat what you said, but people are asking me why we are moving. We are not moving. We are changing plan.
And that's a great point, because it also is going to help with transportation and our busing.
Thank you.
By having it right in there with the other two schools.
It's around the mile radius kind of thing, very walkable. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like us to get out of the habit of calling it moving, because we really aren't moving anything. We're just changing the order of which school we're building. We will be back to Granite Springs Elementary. It's just being moved, or yeah, there you go, moved. Yeah. But it's just we're just changing the order that we're constructing it. So
and we're still moving ahead with DTSC and getting that site ready and mitigated. So in the next 3 to 5 years, when the housing comes back in that area, we'll be ready to roll. So we're being proactive and just finishing it up.
Thank you, sir.
Getting it ready.
Fantastic. Okay. Any other questions? Doesn't look like we have any public comment. So with that, I'll take a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Reed.
And second?
Second by Mr. Chalmers-Sherla.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalmers-Sherla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item F, approve name recommendation for new elementary school in the Folsom planning area as Rocky Ridge Elementary School.
It's pretty straightforward following our board policy 7310. We are recommending to this board, this school, not being moved, this school be named Rocky Ridge. It is a Rocky Ridge, and there is a street named Rocky Ridge that's up there, so it makes a ton of sense, and it follows the parameters of our board policy 7310.
And what's the mascot?
I hope the Rattlers, but I don't decide. I just think the alliteration of Rocky Ridge Rattlers sounds really cool.
I like it.
Any questions? Okay.
Who said no? Was that Jeanette?
I just picture like a smiling snake. Jeanette, we'll collaborate after. I have some little pictures that would be really cute. Fantastic. Okay, so with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Miss Eveline, and moved by Miss Luong.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
I'm so happy that they named the elementary school.
Sometimes they get.
We're gonna be on the name too, right? Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to.
No.
For approving my school.
I love the name, by the way. It really is a cool name.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, and moving on to item G, approve certificated assignments under a variable term waiver for the 2026-2027 school year. The Board of Education approved certificated assignments under a variable term waiver for the 2026-27 school year.
I'll invite Mr. Byrd up to the lectern. These two items, G and H, are standard items that the board entertains usually around this time of year. This first one is related to oftentimes some really hard to fill positions, as you'll see on the rationale, driver's ed, as well as one of our medical technology teachers that actually presented our equity item today. So this morning, or earlier this meeting. But Mr. Byrd, anything else to add on to that?
No, these are individuals that are generally trying to acquire these credentials. And in the case of our CTE teacher, her situation is she's in a preliminary credential. And as soon as she is able to clear that preliminary credential, she will have her CLAD credential or her EL authorization, and that'll take care of that. Driver's ed, probably going to be in this situation every single year. You really can't get a driver's ed credential anymore, but we do still offer that class. So those are the two teachers that are listed for the variable term waiver.
Any questions?
Why can't you get a credential?
Nobody offers a driver's ed credential anymore.
Really?
It's just not a credential that you can really acquire. There's no place to go and get it. So as long as you
Probably
can,
say the limited number of classes you would have to take to like fulfill that is not anywhere close to the number of classes you would take to get a credential otherwise.
Okay.
as long as we have that course, we'll probably be in this situation. Yeah, every year.
Any other questions? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse. Second by Mr. Clark.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye. Sorry.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Great. Clearly, we're falling apart up here, so we're gonna move quick. All right, moving on to item H. Approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 26-27 school year.
Yeah, this is an annual declaration that the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing requires each district to participate in. Mr. Byrd, anything else would you like to say about this?
We just have to estimate what we think we're probably going to have to do in terms of emergency credentials. It doesn't necessarily mean we'll have all of these, but we do know we're going to be in a situation, for example, with special education interns and continuing to employ them. And we have a few other positions that we wind up having to do an emergency credential for on an annual basis. So we have to signal to CTC, we need a little space. We're going to need to put this out there and give ourselves some room. Some of the EL authorizations are also an example of that. So we request some space to do this and have to estimate our numbers. And that's what this document does when it goes forward to CTC.
Any questions? Okay, with that, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Chalem-Churla.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Eveline.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Fantastic. We will move on to superintendent's report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I'll make my report brief this evening. First, start off by just appreciating this board, all the participants that were here throughout the night. I just really appreciate the modicum of professionalism and governance that's happening. This meeting represented students advocating for themselves, our teammates advocating for themselves, celebrations, celebrating new hires and awards that we're winning, nationally board certified teachers, and then some really important items that we went through in our different presentations around the achievement gap and facilities and all the things. So I wouldn't say that this board meeting was like Woodstock, but it feels like everything that under the sun in a board meeting happened tonight, and I think it happened with a great deal of efficiency, and I really appreciate the governance team and your work and how hard you work through the committees and through preparation for a board meeting. With that said, my last board report, superintendent's report, was this precursor to the time of year that we're heading into, and we're in it. As you heard from our Cordova High presenters, there's IB testing happening, there's AP testing happening. Teammates, do we have any tests today? You did?
Just finished stats today.
Just finished stats today, yeah.
3 hours in a gym.
Yeah, 3 hours in a gym. How'd you do? Get a 3, come on.
You did
Minimum.
great. You got a 5.
Yeah, oh, look at
You got a
that.
5.
So it's that time of year where we're finishing up a lot of things. We're concluding a lot of things. I know our CAST testing is ending at most of our elementary and middle schools. But along with that comes a lot of celebrations. And I just was thinking about this afternoon and buzzing around with individual board members and members of the team from the Mills State of the School, where they report out on their goals and their accomplishments and their hope for even continued growth in the future, then zipping over to Cordova High School to celebrate a classified employee of the year, and then zipping over to the Folsom Community Center to celebrate all of our teachers that are finishing induction. That would be their second year through the induction program. We had 48 teachers there. And so it's just a really excited and busy time of year. So I want to continue to appreciate everyone's hard work. And then I also want to just say that I'm really excited about next Thursday on the 14th is our annual employee recognition, which is a really, really incredible event where we recognize our years of service as well as our retirees and a few other accomplishments. And we invite staff, of course, I hope the board all has that on your calendar from 3 to 5. Food trucks will be there. And it's just a great celebration for our school sites, our hardworking classified and certificated and administrative teammates. So that is all.
What day is that next week?
It's the 14th, next Thursday, 3 to 5.
And we'll move on to board member reports. Ms. Addie?
Okay, so I have a report for Vista, and then I was just going to share something personal. So for Vista's report, this past week was Staff Appreciation Week, so I just wanted to extend my gratitude to all of the staff at my school and all of my teachers that help make my experience at school so wonderful every day and keep our school running. Just some highlights from this past week that our PTSO put on to help celebrate our teachers. They had breakfast, they had a Taco Tuesday, and then I think today they had like a potato bar, so they had a bunch of like potato dishes for them. So that was all in the staff lounge, and all the like teachers have like decorated doors and stuff. It's very festive. And a lot of updates for seniors because it's just that time of year. We got our cap and gowns last week, which was really sad. I saw all the seniors like walking down to the office and we all like carried our like caps and gowns. It was, yeah. And I tried it on for the first time too, and I was like, and yeah. All the seniors had senior ball this past weekend. We had ours at the Grand Pavilion in Sacramento. And if you want to get stuck in traffic, go to the Rose Garden in downtown Sacramento on a Saturday afternoon in May, because every single senior in like the greater Sacramento area is down there taking photos. So yeah, that was an experience, but it was fun. And our Vista's end of the year rally is going to be tomorrow, and it's just an opportunity to celebrate what we've done in the past year and also send off our seniors. And tomorrow, all the seniors are also doing a gratitude walk. So we're all going to Folsom Middle and saying hi to our old teachers and saying hi to some younger siblings. And then we're all dividing up into different buses, and we're going to our old elementary schools as well. And then, as Mr. Swanson said, AP testing is this week and next week. So just this last push. So yeah, good luck to all the students that are taking those tests. And thank you to the teachers that are running it, because we've had a lot of mishaps this past week with that. Okay, and then also I just wanted to say Happy Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. In the spirit of this month, I wanted to briefly reflect on my story and share my pride for not only my culture, but also in my district. Just a little background, I went to a Mandarin immersion elementary school in Sacramento, so I wasn't actually in FCUSD until 7th grade. But for 7 years, I was like surrounded by peers and teachers who actively taught and also socialized in Mandarin. So when I moved here, it was very strange because all of a sudden everyone around me spoke English and taught in English. and my parents don't speak Chinese at home, they also speak English. So I felt very disconnected from my culture and also my language. But this year, especially as I was reflecting, I took the Seal of Biliteracy test, and I also helped organize International Night, which were both really great opportunities to re-immerse myself back into my culture. Not only this, but in my classroom, my teachers are actively choosing to teach about stories that uplift the voices of marginalized communities. And shout out to Dr. Dianita, my English teacher, who's so awesome. And so not only am I learning more about the Asian American experience, but also the experiences of my peers. So, and also with the continued efforts to push for ethnic studies, I'm really excited for future FCUSD students to feel empowered like I do this month and every other day. So thank you for the many opportunities to celebrate and reconnect with my culture and show people that like me belong.
Thank you. For my board report, I wanted to give another shout out to the Cordova students that came and presented. So that would be Sophia, Andrew, and Brandy, who are also SEB members. So that not only did they represent Cordova, but our student advisory board. I think they did an awesome job in presenting and representing the students at Cordova High School. They were very well spoken, and I'm really proud of them. And then since they covered most of what I was gonna mention, I'll just do it a little more. And then I'll just do a brief report. So we did have, like Addie, we did have a senior and junior prom on last Saturday. And it was so fun, but I didn't get into the dance until 8:30 because the line was so long. Mind you, I got there at 6:20 and the doors opened at 7. So I don't know, but it was so crazy. And then yesterday was senior awards night, and we had our blood drive. So I got to attend, and I got to help Dr. Jackson open the ceremony. And I had the opportunity to read the land acknowledgement that, thanks to the board, I can read very well. And then next week, Friday, we have our senior send-off rally. And so a very fun tradition I'm excited for is that seniors get to throw red chalk powder up in the air, and we get really dirty and ugly later, but that's okay because the tears are worth it. And then we've also been having IB testing, which actually started April 30th. And since we have a lot of IB opportunities in classes, it doesn't end until May 20th. Yeah, that's... I'm still studying for more IB tests, but that's okay. And then we have our grad walk, which I'm very excited about too. We're gonna visit Mills and Mitchell, and then Williamson Elementary and Rancho Cordova Elementary. And at Cordova, it is also Staff Appreciation Week, so I also wanted to thank all the teachers and staff and people that help us keep our campus clean, our students fed, and our minds learning, because without them, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, yes, that's all I had. Thank you.
Ms. Loftus? I have a super short report, just extending happy Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. I feel like it's funny that we appreciate teachers and staff in probably the busiest time of the year, which also goes for Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to the mothers also. I think it's sort of like Mayvember is how I've heard it phrased. And there is something going on every single day, and it's exhausting. And we are all feeling it. And so the end is near, and you will have a much deserved summer break. And I hope you do feel appreciated this week and all the weeks.
Mr. Clark?
All right, thank you. I just want to thank my colleagues on the board for the ratification of the resolution that I put forward for our SOS for our students and CTAG. I do have a delegates assembly next weekend where I will be pursuing other boards that I have missed during my travels to persuade them into doing their own resolutions. So we are strong as a state, and all of our districts are participating because I believe this is a cause that we really need to pay attention to. I really enjoyed myself at the International Night. It was a lot of fun. It was the first time that Jean was there, and she says, "How long has this been going?" It's like a few years. She says, "How come you never invited me?" It's like, I always invited you. But anyway, she really enjoyed herself there. And congratulations to one of our Cordova students who was the recipient of the Clark Memorial Scholarship that I was able to give out yesterday. And that is actually it on my end. I'm really short.
Thank you. Mr. Reed.
Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. Our student board members, when is your last board meeting? So is that our college hoodie?
Thank you, Trustee Clark. That is our college hoodie night, May 21st. So encourage all board members to wear a hoodie. And Rochelle. Yeah, of course, you're up here on the dais. Well, everyone.
And Angela.
Everyone
Not
here,
that UCLA
wear a
stuff,
hoodie.
Are we getting the student board members
question
mark?
We are getting them a hoodie.
Yeah.
The problem is Addie's not
Addie
sure.
doesn't know where she's
and
going.
Eveline is kind of sure. Addie told me yesterday in the prep call that it was UCSB, but now it might not be UCSB.
I don't know. We're gonna have to find out because.
We have to buy you guys a
Yes,
hoodie
you
that
will know,
matches.
you will know.
We need you to know like now though,
Okay,
or
okay.
soon.
But we're gonna
gotta
definitely
buy it.
pressure
We
you
can
for
buy
a
our
life
own
commitment
hoodies.
because we're gonna get you.
Make your decision.
Or how about this? This might be fun.
Let's go.
How about you
you're
guys
scaring
buy
me.
your hoodies and we will Venmo you afterwards, but you show up with your decision on your hoodies that night.
I don't like. Oh,
think
okay.
that's better.
A reveal.
It's the same thing.
But,
Like a college reveal
Yeah.
night? That would be cool.
Oh, I see.
But we kind of know.
So you have 2 weeks to decide.
Right?
But you know what
Because-
happened? It's because some colleges are like sending out their wait list offers. So then it's like, oh, you know?
Did you? So by May 1st, UCs were expecting, and you sent
Yes.
an intent to attend
Yes.
UCSB because you said to me, "Go Gauchos." And now,
I hate that this is public.
yeah. Sorry. Oh, I'm just trying to buy you a hoodie. I'm sorry to
it's
reveal.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this later.
Okay. My apologies. Let Trustee Lofthouse know where you're gonna go so we can buy you a hoodie.
Yeah. No, she's like, she already got an idea. I already,
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. Okay.
That was a mess.
We're, Mr. Reed.
That was interesting. I kind of lost my train of thought. Okay.
I feel like we're the most indecisive student board members ever. I can't. So sorry.
I'd like to echo what Board Member Lofthouse indicated. Obviously to the staff and teachers, Happy Appreciation Week. Honestly, every day should be Staff and Teacher Appreciation Day. Obviously, we can't operate without them, and I obviously, actually, I appreciate the teachers who showed up tonight as well. Let's see. I had something else, but I got distracted by the conversation. So, I guess to the students, finish strong. It's an exciting time of year, especially if you're a senior. I know that things can get very stressful at the end of the school year, but this is the time to double down and put your best effort forward. You're only several weeks away from the end of the school year, and then you'll have your summer. So just congratulations to everybody as we move to the final 2-3 weeks of the school year.
Yeah.
So and happy Mother's Day as well. That's all for me. Thank you.
Mr. Chalmtrell.
Awesome. I think I'm going to echo what my colleagues said, especially for the kids, if you're watching, kids, eat well, sleep well. That's important. Then you will do well in the exams. That's given, right? Yeah, I just want to echo that one. And yeah, this is a busy time of the year and visiting some of the schools. And now I know, how the teachers' rooms are decorated for a Teachers' Appreciation Week. That's awesome. Personally going and thanking them sincerely. And also, I got a chance to go ride along with our transportation, one of our buses. Thank you, Mr. Swanson. And it is in the rainy morning. So now I can see what our drivers are going through also in the rainy morning. I didn't know that they do 45-minute safety check before the bus comes out. 45 minutes. That gave me a more confidence how safe our drivers are going to be, our buses are going to be, and our kids are safely transported from your home to our schools. It is eye-opening for me on that. And my last one is, I know Vista Del Lago has a bike safety and pedestrian safety club. It was in a brand new one. It is an up and down way, and I motivated those kids and I took them, since you are the first safety club in the district, let's go and meet the police chief. They all came, they're all excited now, they're all more pumped up for next year to have a more stronger advocacy about the e-bike from the students. Rather than I tell from here or we tell from here, the students are going to talk about with the help of our police department. So I want to make that club success so that we can repeat the same thing in Folsom High and Cordova High as well. So with that, thank you again, good night, and happy, once again, happy Teachers Appreciation Week.
Fantastic. I will be short as well. To kind of go along with bike safety, last week during the Measure H, the city did approve some additional funding to the bike patrol that we partner with at Cordova High School. And that initiative is going to be specifically about e-bike safety that they're going to be pushing into. So hopefully we can connect with them on what some of those initiatives are and roll that out. Last week, I actually went to Cordova High, and thank you to Coach Temez for bringing Project Play to Cordova High. And we had students from Mitchell and our SPED classes at Cordova High come and participate in a series of athletic events with our athletes, which was so cool and so awesome. And the best part about it was the relationships that you could see being made among students and just this connectivity that was like happening, and it was awesome. So we had 5 different stations, and we had student athletes at each of the stations, and the SPED students were able to come around and enjoy those and make new friends. And I think it was just an amazing day for everyone there. And looking forward to some additional initiatives with Project Play that could maybe have some, I think they're looking to have some similar activities on some upcoming weekends so that we can kind of continue on with that. So, and with that, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you to all of our teachers and our staff. Appreciate you. And with that, we'll move on to advanced planning. Our next regular board meeting will be scheduled for May 21st. And then just a special note that our Saturday meeting that was going to be scheduled for June 13th is actually being moved to Tuesday, May 26th from 11 to 2. And this will be an in-person meeting only. So just wanted to make note of that. And then with that, there is our 12-month board calendar. And then we'll move on to suggested future addenda items. Does anybody have anything you want to add?
Yes, Madam President?
Yes.
Yeah. There are 213,000 active duty service members, National Guard, and reserve personnel that reside in the state of California. I recently learned about this new, well, I guess it's a kind of a new program, but it's called the Purple Star Program designation, where schools and districts can have this designation. It was, I guess, first introduced as legislation in 2021. It was permanently added into California law in 2024. It's administered by the California Department of Education. The program recognizes schools that have taken 4 concrete steps. The 4 steps are designating a military family point of contact on staff, providing professional development on military-connected students' needs, maintaining a dedicated web page with family resources, and running a transition program, which can be student-led, to welcome incoming military students socially and academically. It's really I think, here's the statistic that students that are in military families can expect to change schools 6 to 9 times between kindergarten and 12th grade. And they really would appreciate or could use some additional supports when they move into new communities as the new student or constantly the new student. And so it seems like a program that doesn't have a large dollar amount. It's more about the district doing certain things to help students that to transition in when their parents are or parent is relocated. So I'd love for the board to consider requesting staff to look into the program and maybe report back on the possibility of implementing it in our district. As far as I'm aware, the only district in our region that has it, Craig, you should appreciate this, it's Roseville. But apparently that's the only school district in the region that's participating in it, although it's a fairly new program. So yeah, so I don't know if the board has consensus on maybe requesting.
I know last month I was trying my best, very similar. April has been the active duty military child's month. And including, another concept, moving in is, I'm 100% in. I know we all talk about it, but the dads or moms are in somewhere out there and their kids are here. So adding something, it's very important. I'm for that.
So would the board be, okay, we'll dig in, we'll learn about it, and then we'll give our first report in a Friday board update, so you guys can consume it and see, and then get back? Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Other items?
I wanted to ask, maybe this is something we can discuss separately, but were we planning to put Karthik and his resolution on the agenda, or was that going to be something that we discussed in a different agenda item?
So was your question, Addie, just so I know, Rochelle was saying, I think we're looking in June, but you'll be gone. Karthik was talking about a resolution or something that's kind of going through the different Peter's looked at it, or Mr. Maroon's looked at it and all that. Yeah, that would be something that would then come to the board for consideration at a future board meeting when it's finally done.
Okay.
We need to have like a timeline of that, and then we can then get it on a board agenda. Probably too late for May 21st already, unfortunately for y'all, because y'all being gone after that. But we have June 4th and June 18th this year.
Okay.
This is the second year we've indicated that the student board members are gone. Technically, you're not. You serve till the next school year, which starts on July 1st. So it's not to force you here in June, but if you're around and you want to participate in our June meetings, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'd love to. And so basically his resolution just needs to get finalized before. Okay. And then for the girls that were talking about the recycling policy, is that something that we can revisit? Or they go to my school, so I can definitely connect with them. But how should we proceed with that?
Yeah, Sean, I saw a little messaging going around the recycling. I think that Mr. Rouse is going to check into it, and then we'll have some reports back to you guys.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Is there anything else? Okay, with that, we do not need to go back to closed session, so we will go ahead and we will adjourn.